Radiant team ban.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Hello guys, and welcome to the lower division, to the English stream for the lower division Eastern European DPC League. We have the match between VP.Prodigy and Bait as the only match for today. It's going to be a best of 3. Of course, this region is casted or is created by ESL and it's powered by Intel. So, to enjoy our broadcast that we engage in this really quick road trip, really small stop that is VP.Prodigy versus.
Yep, exactly. Sunday Fun Day, which means we got 1 match of the lower division and 2 matches of the upper division, which will be starting either 3 hours from now or immediately after the completion of this series, if it goes a little bit later. I predict it won't, however. These 2 lineups have kind of technically not met before. It's kind of complicated, right? Because VPP used to be Team Generation prior to January 18th, right? Bait as well last year when they were playing in the end of just end of year tournaments, specifically Summit 13 CIS division. These 2 teams met during the open qualifiers in the second round. Of course, it wasn't really the same Bait. It was still centered around Dendi, but they had much different players back then. But Team Generation, or rather VP.Prodigy, was exactly the same. Just freshly starting out, though. They played on Halloween, actually, and it was a spooky match, a very spooky match for VPP, because they got 1-0. It was a best of 1 being the second round, I think round of 32, and Dendi had one hell of a match. I focused on the mid lane because Dendi, of course, was the only player still on Bait at the time. I think he went something like 15-2 and 23 on Tiny in like 25 minutes.
I mean, I can imagine it. I mean, everyone likes to throw shade at him, but he's still a very solid mid lane.
He is super solid, and in fact, I took a bit of a deeper dive at his stats today. Of course, his stats are skewed for much of the opposite reasons when we talk about some of these newer teams. You know, sometimes you talk about newer teams and you're like, oh man, like Notice, for example, he's got like a 70% win rate on Troll Warlord. Most of those games are in amateur or semi-pro tournaments and not quite the professional, quote, premium sort of tier that maybe you'd be wanting to pull stats from, right?
Yep.
It's almost like you have the opposite issue because a lot of his stats come from like TI1, TI2, you know, like those sort of days when honestly everyone was just way worse at the game. For example, Dendi's most played hero is actually Puck in the mid lane. I think his average CS on Puck is like 213 over like a couple hundred matches, I think 1 to 200. Right, but if you look at the past like 10 games on his Puck alone, his average CS is like 400, right? So it's like stats don't tell the full picture, of course, but being that it was recent, Dendi, he knows his way around Laurel, the mid laner. In true lower division fashion, though, we're probably going to make the main broadcast start a little bit late, so I am predicting a best of 3, but I think it will be a 2-1 for Bait.
Okay, all right, let's see if you're right. We have the draft underway. VP.Prodigy already starting with a pretty strong combo. The Darkseer Earth Spirit, they've run this before. Darkseer's been taking, just been kind of climbing up the ladder of the offlaner. Starting to become kind of a tier 1 offlaner, particularly good with the Earth Spirit. And you pick up an Oracle right after, which is the biggest counter to Darkseer, and also a great hero with Terrorblade, so it works perfectly nice for VP.Prodigy. Whereas Bait, they start with another combo as well. It's going to be Terrorblade, Keep It Light, no surprise. It's RDO.
It's RDO. I mean, it's one of his favorite heroes.
I mean, it's by far his favorite hero.
Yeah, I think he's got the most matches played with like a 61% win rate on it. Very, very impressive stats here. With the Coddle here for themselves as well. You know, just spamming much more Conjure images to be able to get a little bit better lane control. Reduces the cooldown of Metamorphosis by around 20 seconds here if you're with level 4 Chakra Magic, assuming you're constantly spamming it. But it also gives you the ability... Oh, sorry, here's our Dota just freaked out. Give me a moment. There we are, everyone's back. Yeah, very...
Just go out.
Yeah,
and go back.
I just did.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Dota's
just having a day right now.
Thank you.
Yeah. So TB Coddle, very good combo. We've seen it many times. Y'all know what it does by now. Celebrity is going to get one of his favorite heroes though, and that's the Troll Warlord. Again, I think he's got like something like 60, 70 games here overall played on it on ticket with a very impressive win rate. I want to say it's around like 70% win rate on the Troll.
You mean noticed, right?
Noticed, yes. Thank you. What did I say? Celebrities, they're offlaner.
Yeah,
my bad.
Darkseer player.
So yeah, we've actually seen him as well on this hero before. I believe he won on it and forced to game number 3. But Dendi is going to pull out the Storm here for the mid lane to give a little bit more tempo, allow him to dive the backline Oracle, maybe look to pop the Troll Warlord. They do have the Darkseer against him. This is my favorite interaction in the game. You can now vacuum Storm Spirit out of a Ball Lightning.
He will mention this every single time. Sometimes
and it
when
never
it's not
happens.
even relevant.
And it never happens. It never happens.
It has never, not a single time.
But hey, you know, this could be the one. You know, if you never buy a ticket for the lottery, Alvaro, you'll never win.
Yes, but if you buy it, most likely you'll never win either.
That is very true. That is very true.
By statistics, there's more chances of you getting hit by a car twice than it is for you to win the
Well, I almost got hit by a car outside once. Remember that?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta do it twice in the same day, and then there's more chances.
Oof. Okay, so we'll see. I like this this draft so far coming through from Bait. The Shadow Demon is a nice save. You can use that as a nice interrupt, either basically onto anyone. You can use it as a save. This game, it has a lot of usefulness for a bit of more of an aggressive sort of stance as well, because you're probably going to see a lot of TI6 flashbacks with Shadow Demon Luna, except this time around it's going to be Shadow Demon Terrorblade to help them siege high ground, because they do lack just a little bit of early tower damage, so that will always help out. We could see it used aggressively here as well. Versus the Troll in his ulti, just to burn some duration off of the battle trance. If you can see a Darkseer or an Earth Spirit before the fight starts, it might be worth actually getting a disruption out to them to make sure that Dendi can dive and be pretty much unbothered, because that's really the only control they have for him this game. Oracle's Fortune's End is much too slow to ever catch up to a Storm Spirit, whereas the Vacuum and the Earth Spirit do a little bit better at controlling him. But yeah, it does leave the support duo a little bit weak though, especially if you ever fall behind in the game. To see them go for like sort of defensive offlaner or something with a stun, if that makes sense, because right now Solar Bind's pretty good, but it's not really going to be
though.
Yeah,
the Shadow Demon disruption sets up for nothing right now, so I would agree that some sort of offlaner that gives you that kind of catch. So you lost the main ones, particularly Mars and Tidehunter, which are the most popular ones.
And the Brewmaster's gone too. That would have been nice.
Troll, Centaur. That's the more stable pick. I mean, I was going to suggest it, but I always suggest Centaur. So
I mean, it's a sexy fat hero as well.
It is sexy fat. Yeah, that's true. I think it's pretty solid with Shadow Demon. The combo's nice because you set up really nicely for the Hoof Stomp. He's pretty good against Darkseer because Stampede can compete with Surge pretty nicely. Oracle can dispel, is annoying with the root, but you know you gotta have to deal with that. And I think you can kite the Troll easily with this hero. I kind of like Bait's. Oh, is this going to be an interesting choice? Yeah. Interesting choice, because I wouldn't think of a mid Lycan particularly against Storm Spirit, because Storm tends to be really good against melee heroes, and yeah, Lycan can hold his own better than most, but it's still going to be not the easiest lane, especially because Wolves are going to die so easily to Remnants.
Yeah, especially the first 2 levels, really.
I don't know if I love this hero. Like, he's good against the enemy supports, right? He's particularly good against Shadow Demon, Keeper of Light, destroys them. But he's not great against Terrorblade, nor Storm Spirit, nor Centaur.
He could be a little bit weak versus the Shadow Demon, right? Because of the Demonic Purge being super annoying.
Yeah, but if your shapeshift doesn't affect you, right? So I think that's how you have to fight.
Yeah. But
Soulcatcher still is very good against you though, so you're right.
I feel like the Wolves, like the early 5 minutes are going to be pretty much all Dendi favored, but as soon as like Dendi starts to go in between the waves and stack camps, I think Laurel's going to have to be a little bit clever with pushing the waves and farming underneath tower and then going back to farm the jungle. We have absolutely no early game push from Bait unless they want to bring RDO in for a metamorphosis for a tier 1 tower siege, which is very unlikely because he likes to farm early on the hero, just get his items, and that's how he wins games. So why would you want him to do anything differently? Well, this game maybe because you want something to pressure the Lycan, you want something to knock down that tier 1 tower to make sure you just nuke the wave, farm a camp or two using the Wolves, come back, nuke the wave again, right? That's kind of the only plus side I can see. I generally do agree with you. I feel like Dendi can really just kind of have his way here with the Lycan for the first couple of minutes in the lane, and that's going to be the most dangerous part here, and perhaps what sets the tempo for this game.
I also find that particularly, I mean, they played a relatively fast draft, right, with Troll and Lycan and Darkseer to some degree as well. You have like 3 pushers. Pretty good draft for that sense. I don't think it's bad, but you are not playing against a lineup that's bad at cutting waves or bad at delaying the game. Caudal, Shadow Demon, and Storm are all great at doing that. Centaur is a really early pick that no matter how great your lane goes or how bad your lane goes, you'll still do fine.
Don't mind me, I'm just trying to sneeze over here.
Ah, it's fine. So I think the Bait lineup is a bit easier to play. VP.Prodigy though, this is how they win games, right? They go for a really odd strat, but has a very specific peak or some really strong strength, you know, something all concentrating into all your eggs in the one basket, and then they throw a basket at Dendi's head and they get given a concussion. And that's kind of the idea for a lot of VP's drafts, and I don't think it's bad.
Yeah. And they're like,
it could work if they play it really well.
And they're like, Dendi, wake up. Navi, fountain hooking? No. It's 2021. We're playing ESL One DPC leagues. Yeah, it's a league now, Dendi.
Yeah.
Nah, and he's gonna do real well this game. I don't want to say he's got a free game, because with the Earth Spirit, you can always really run the risk of overextending a little bit and getting punished heavily.
Spirit's not the best ganker for a Storm either.
No, he's not the best ganker for a Storm, but because how quickly you can really get off Geomagnetic Grip, which naturally pulls into a Rolling Boulder, right, for your little Yo-Yo of Death, there's some potential for things to go wrong. You've got a Shadow Demon, you've got a Centaur, I mean, you've got ways to mitigate it, right?
The Yo-Yo of Death, by the way, is silence into the Boulder Smash. Rolling Boulder. Then you destroy the Yo-Yo, dude.
Well, no, but first the combo would be you drop Remnant behind the Storm Spirit, you pull it in, and then you roll back in.
Yeah, I mean, that's the actual combo. I'm just saying, it's not what I'm referring.
Well, I mean, it's...
Yeah, use my turn.
Well, that spells death for a Storm Spirit,
it does spell death for a Storm Spirit.
I guess you can call it the teeter-totter of death, or whatever you want to call it.
That's much better. Teeter-totter of death. I'll refer to the...
Yeah, so this lane is going to be a little bit teeter-tottery for the Lycan. Again, early on, like you said as well, his Wolves just die to Storm. Overload attack is really great at dealing with both Wolves. It's a really tough early game here for our Lycan, but he farms really well and quite easily under tower with a pretty high base damage, and with Quelling Blade, it's basically CS on easy mode.
As you can see it here, Lycan goes for a CS and Storm just gets a free static remnant, and then it's like, okay, I guess. Your stats, the thing is, Storm does, of course, do well against melee here. That's a mess about. He does do well against melee heroes, but he's specifically good against Lycan because you have actually a really nice starting base armor. 6 armor is no joke, especially for a ranged hero, with a nice base HP to go with it. So Lycan's insane physical damage early doesn't really seem to matter to a Storm because you tank a fair amount of it. Yep. I mean, you're not TB or Naga, but honestly, you're Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, you are Bounty Hunter, except with Ball Lightning. Speaking of TB, he's already popped his first Metamorphosis. 5-1 here, is now farming between the Tier 1 and Tier 2, with Force Major attempting to try and bother him a little bit.
We'll see how the bottom lane develops as well. I know that Centaur is not too bothered by losing his lane, but ideally you don't want to lose it too hard and put a bit of pressure into the Troll. It's not the worst lane, honestly, Centaur Troll. I like the build 65 goes for. It's very uncommon nowadays to go for Retaliate early because you don't get the stacks anymore, so it's really... But... By the way, change it back to return, guys. It's gonna be...
Yeah, no, I agree. Make it consistent. Yeah, that makes sense.
But anyway, the Centaur against a Troll, if you go for the early level in the passive, some Centaurs I've seen going for 2 levels, and then you're actually kind of fine against Troll because it can't harass you with his screen. And Whirling Axis doesn't deal nearly enough damage to truly harass. And then you go for an early ring of health because you want to go for Vanguard anyway against a troll, and you want to go for the Hooded Defiance this game probably as well, and you're good to go. Right? I don't think it's going to be too tough for Sexy. See it now in the last.
Well, just keeping my eyes on mid lane. Of course, we've got the level 3 combo ready for our Storm. The Vortex of Death. The electrical shock of death, you might want to call it there. Lots of damage. He's gone for the level 2
shock.
And overload. Oh, you know the one, especially against melee heroes. You're more likely to see it.
It's the pull into the remnants, right?
Pull, auto attack, remnants auto attack for a third of their HP usually.
Honestly, it's a fair, like for level 3 combo, it's a fair strong combo.
Yeah, and it gets better at 4 depending on what you want to go with. This game is overload, and it's going to help him farm a little bit later as well. As here we're going to see it. Oh, no, he's just auto-attacking creep. He's just CS in here. Good old Dendy. Doesn't want to miss his CS like we miss First Bloods. A Celebrity will be able to get that into the top lane.
Don't use the royal we. the kill, or the middle lane, though, the one weakness that Dendy has with these kind of combos, right, is that Lycan does have good HP regen and nice HP in general. So magical damage is usually not the way to deal with Lycan. Usually it's physical because his armor gain is, or it's 1/8 level.
Wolves need no armor.
Yeah, wolves need no armor. Particularly, the Wolf Master needs no armor either. Getting 1 armor every, I think, is 6 levels, right? So it's not great. So then he can take advantage of that with his physical damage, but that's why he's not trying to play too aggressively.
Yeah, a 6 is actually right on the money. I think you get 0.16 armor per 1 agility.
Yeah, I think you get, like, I think it is every 6 agility is 1 armor.
Yeah,
right?
pretty sure.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. Do you want to do that math? 19 over 3 point? No, because that doesn't count base armor.
No, because it doesn't count base
armor.
armor.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty certain. They changed it from 7, which
I'm pretty
was
sure
the
you're right.
longest
I'm pretty
time.
sure you're right.
Yeah, now we're seeing as well in this top lane, they do lose RDO, but there's still this lane is not too difficult for them to coddle. RDO just need to be careful. Darkseer is a hard counter to the TB, so the fact that he's still farming nicely shows that the coddles managed to mitigate the to a certain degree. Down bottom, DSA is in trouble though. There's a 3 stacks of Shadow Poison. If they get the 4th one, he should be dead. Unless he can dispel it in time. DSA out of mana though.
Yeah,
Magic
stick.
Yep, that's gonna be enough for the 4th stack, and that's DSA dead. Stopping the troll aggression. Sexy Fat just gets away. Not even concerning himself with the troll. That was good. Just what is it? Cool centaurs don't look at their hoof stomps.
No, they do not. They just hoof stomp. Well, because ideally, right, you know, horses and donkeys and, well, anything that has that weird body structure that somehow animals have evolved on this planet, they just want to kick you with their rear legs.
You mean quadrupeds?
Well, listen, dude, that's kind of weird.
Is that what you think?
Listen,
is weird?
if I came in a room walking like a quadruped, you'd be like, "What's wrong with you, you freak?"
Actually, there's a small town in Turkey where people never develop to walk in 2 legs. They all walk on 4 legs.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Fun fact, and that's actually true. Like, I'm not making this up.
No, I totally believe you.
I watched the whole documentary. Very fascinating people, but they'd like to walk on 2 legs though. It's just because culturally they have never been taught to, so they crawl. They're very fast as well, like really fast. Anyway, the Coddle Duster is going to die really easily. That's the new vacuum early on that Darkseer's love to get. Gives you so much more kill potential in the lane. You don't need to level 2nd point in Surge.
Yep.
And okay, this is how you should start to play the top lane, by the way. Put a lot of pressure there.
If your Earth Spirit can't hit a stun, just take a point in vacuum. It'll all be okay. Force Major, unfortunately, the 2 times I've looked top lane, you haven't been the money here.
That's very true. I find that if you do snowball like this for VP.Prodigy, you have a solid chance of just taking the game super early, which is your plan anyway. And Celebrity is doing a great job of doing so. I think that's why they're putting so much pressure up top. They know bottom, there's no point in securing farm for Troll, because they're playing around Lycan early anyway, and Troll will recover based on Lycan.
Exactly. And unlike Lycan, who you said the best way to get through him is physical damage because of his poor armor and high HP, take a look at TB. He's exactly the opposite. High AF armor, but piss poor HP.
Yeah,
so you got to go for a lot of magic damage. So here we see the 2 Boulder Smash. He's taking the point in the Magnetic Grip just in case Dendy comes and ganks his lane. For now, it looks like Dendy's got his eyes down bottom where they're going to try for another kill. On to notice, DSA is rotating in, trying to hold down TSA. As there's Force Major now. Nice rolling Boulder into the Boulder Smash, but notice it's not going to save his life, unfortunately. Force Major 0 for 3 every time I've looked at him now, but should be able to get this kill. In comes Dendy. He's going to be able to pull away Force Major, but not before the urn ticks down TSA. Take that. Don't you look through my bags anymore. And that's going to be a 3-for-1 trade in favor of Bait.
Yeah, I think that here Bait are utilizing one of their best assets, which is it's just Dendy, honestly. We said this lane was going to be relatively easy for Dendy. He has a lot of ganking potential early. Lycan can also gank, but not as effectively, I would say, as a Storm, because you don't carry a stun with you, so you kind of rely on someone else to bring that catch. You
And
don't
you're
have
much more
catch.
cooldown dependent rather than
Much more cooldown
buying just a clarity and then walking over to the lane.
Exactly, which Dendi took advantage of, right? Because Dendi sees an opportunity, goes for it. Whereas Lycan kind of have to gank proactively, guessing where the enemy team is going to be, trying to take advantage of your shapeshift. I'd say that VP.Prodigy here is playing the early pretty well, but they're playing objective-based early, whereas Bait is trying to play around the kills, right? And stopping or slowing down the enemy team. That's why Celebrity has been punching this tower for a while. His knuckles are starting to hurt him.
Yeah, they are certainly, but you know, he's basically going to be pretty much unbothered here for the most part. His farm is doing pretty nicely as well. Number 2 in the game, a little bit above the TB, just behind Dendi.
I like his build, by the way. You go for an early mechanism, just to get a bit more, because mechanism gives you a lot of pushing power. I like his build, but I don't like his chances right now.
No, me neither.
Bye-bye, Darkseer. Vacuum, not going to be enough. Yeah, so if you go for the early mech, you get the armor aura and the heal, which is great for pushing. Then you go immediately for the Ags, and you can still opt for the Necros if you think that's the right choice, or just straight up go for something like, say, Shivas, or even Helm of the Dominator, etc., etc. And so you still get that early game push, but with the most efficient build possible. Greaves is great, but it's not so great to upgrade early, especially if you have an early game. The extra healing usually doesn't warrant the upgrade for how much it costs.
This is also an interesting skill build by Force Major. He decided to put a second point in the Rolling Boulder, which is not that strange. This game, I thought for sure he'd want to just kind of max, go 3-1-1 at level 6, right?
Most common build.
Yes, the most, well, I would say 3-2-0 is probably the most common build. Versus a Storm, versus a hero that you need to shut down, yes. Yeah. But he's decided for a 2-2-1 this game, and I think that makes a lot of sense because they don't quite have the burst damage to reliably lock down Dendi with that short silence and with the magic damage. Like you said, good base armor. So I think that little bit longer of a stun is going to be really, really helpful here and potentially getting an earlier kill on Dendi. As he's going to demolish the top tier one by himself. So we'll see if this comes into play, but we're only going to see probably this 1 point in the silence. It's 2 seconds. It doesn't scale very well. It doesn't do a lot of damage. It's very expensive for Earth Spirit's mana. So we're just going to see the 1 point here for a while, basically for as long as he can not level it up, just because they have other sources of lockdown here, the root, and then just hoping to try and burst him down either with a troll or with just magnetize, boulder smash, the whole lot.
Yeah. The lack of stuns, as you mentioned, probably an issue they have to deal with.
That's okay.
It's an issue they're going to have to deal with. Oh my goodness, he blew up that chicken.
He did.
So it's going to be an issue they have to deal with some degree, so I agree that Rolling Boulder a couple early levels rather than the damage. I don't think the damage is something you lack in particular Lycan either. So, and usually Boulder Smash is all about that damage.
Yeah,
well.
I was just thinking in case you wanted to go for the kill into the TB before he gets to the point of Metamorphosis, you might want to actually take the third point in the Boulder Smash, right, for that increased damage. That's a lot more damage that you're doing.
It's ability that scales best in damage. That's why people usually max it first.
Yes, absolutely. You can see Laurel with Shapeshift Light, the Haste Rune. This is just a precursor of what's to come, however. He's already got Necro 2. Farming pretty nicely. He's not been able to put too much pressure on this tier 1. I like this play from Bait actually quite a bit. They've just parked Duster in the mid lane here just to push the waves back out with the Illuminate. People walk mid, and he just gives them some Chakra Magic. RDO's like, coddle, give mana. He's like, all right, thank you very much. RDO back into the jungle, because this is going to really actually hamper the Lycan's game. Not only does he, of course, want to push towers, because that's what he does best, and that's what he's itemizing for, but it's also going to allow the rest of VPP to play a lot more aggressively in the enemy jungle, as notice, don't worry about him. He's just popping the ulti to farm here with the Maelstrom first item. Did not go for the Battle Fury.
No, I think this build is much better if you're playing an early game draft, right? Battle Fury is way too slow. Maelstrom allows you to fight. Maelstrom still allows you to put or farm quite nicely, right? So it's not a bad item in general. I think most trolls are preferring this build over Battle Fury, much less popular. Except in SA, where I see it all the time anyway. But here, especially in Europe and CIS, Maelstrom is the name of the game, and usually acts as well. Celebrity, but okay, Rolling Boulder, stopping the storm. There's the vacuum as well. But thanks to the Stampede, Dendi's capable of getting away. They're still trying to finish off Celebrity, but he's healing a bit too much, and Sexy Fat is going to get punished here with a shapeshift. They're going for TSA as well. Going to carry him to death here. TSA unable to outrun the big bad wolf.
There we go. Nice play by Force Major. I've been kind of critical of him not hitting rolling boulders, but I will praise him there for getting the very clutch timing on the magnetic grip. Again, you can really get that combo really, really quickly. It's basically just the cast time on Remnant, which does have a cast time. They don't appear instantly, although it seems like sometimes they do. He's able to get the silence, the two-man silence quite crucially as well, not only onto Dendi, but most importantly there, the Centaur, who had used the ulti to reposition himself to get in between the two heroes and land the hoof stomp, but because he was silenced for 2 seconds, that allows Celebrity to get out the vacuum wall combo, and then it's a great counter initiation from there, all thanks to the Earth Spirit here.
Yeah, the fact that Terrorblade not joining these fights, and also the fact that Centaur kind of got caught in the middle of initiation, so he couldn't properly counter initiate them, right? Really made it more difficult for Bait to really fight this, and we know that this is the timing for VPP anyway. They should be much stronger right now than the enemy team, so Bait should take this into consideration when fighting. Even though you have the high ground, it's still not safe against Lycan. Now there's no shapeshift though, so it's a bit safer. Rolling Boulder, stopping this hoof stop. Wow, Force Major on point here. Storm does catch him with the Vortex, they use Metamorphosis, and they try to finish out this Earth Spirit. He tries to go for it on the Storm, but it's not going to be good enough, and he's just going to end up dying there. Celebrity also suffering a fair chunk of damage, but not enough to kill him. You cannot dispel the Shadow Poison stacks, but they did try.
Yeah, no, VPP, they don't want to be fighting here right now. They don't have any ultis, they don't have Shapeshift, they didn't have Magnetize, they don't have Wall. I don't know. They really want to defend this Tier 1 tower, and they're doing a pretty damn good job of it as well here. Laurel forcing back Sexy Fat just with the Necro Illusions alone. Now they will be able to repel the push out from Bait. RDO's like, screw this, I'd rather go hit jungle creep, and he's going to go ahead and do that. He's already got the SNY, so very good stats, really, really good farm, as he always has. But the rest of his team, because they're not really fighting too well, which I would say is kind of what Bait do rather nicely here, at least in the early game.
But in the mid game, I'd say, right? I think they're more
okay, that's fair. It's still early on. It's still 13 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So there's still a time
now
where,
we've got
like,
Orchid.
Yeah, there's still a time where like Shapeshift and Surge are such great abilities for destabilizing team fights, creating chaotic situations where you just kind of win based on your numbers advantage because you have so much more mobility than the enemy team. But later on, when recall becomes a bigger thing, when you have more map control, when Terrorblade actually can fight a bit better. I mean, he did go for SNY, which is why he could take that fight, but he's still not ready, right?
Yeah,
As opposed to Lycan, which is like, yeah, I'm good to go.
Yeah, and
I got my book. I'm done.
And he shows up there in the first place because he's like, well, we've got all of our ultis and they have none of theirs, so if they fight us, we can probably win.
Yeah, exactly.
But then he does something that's really smart that a lot of like regular players in Dota don't do, which is he realizes that he's being not efficient with his time.
Yes.
EP, they're just kind of they're engaging Bait enough so that they feel like it might be worth it to stick around and maybe fight, because it's like, oh, the calculus, it looks good, right? We've got all the boxes checked here. But VPP, I don't think they wanted to fight there. They lose the Earth Spirit, but even he is kind of just the sacrificial sort of space creation there.
I agree. You want to fight when your shapeshift is down. You only want to fight to create space, quote unquote, right? To make the enemy feel busy and so they can't free farm on TP.
Exactly.
Yeah, because TP's gonna out farm you no matter what.
Yeah, and during that entire, it was only 30 seconds, and again, that's why I shouted RDO. Wasted time where the Troll Warlord is hidden creep in the jungle, and RDO isn't.
Yeah, and now VP, next engagement they propose, because they keep the lanes pushed, because, well, they're trying their best, right?
Yeah.
To do so, they can also take an engagement near an enemy tower.
Oh,
like they're doing here.
That's ball lightning level 1. Yeah, very good reaction time there. It was underneath a ward, so maybe he was expecting that one to hit, but you can still cast Remnants and Geomagnetic Grip when you're rolling, so maybe he was just expecting it. I mean, it's ball lightning level 1. I would have thought I would have hit him too, to be honest.
Was that ward there before?
It was, yeah.
So they did see it.
It's quite old.
Because I was going to say, if it's nighttime, maybe you don't see it, but no, that's not a justification. They do find the Shadow Demon.
There it is. There's
That's
the
the yo-yo. And TSA is dead. That's the yeety yo-yo.
Oh, he's got a Blink Dagger now for Sexy Fat. I think they're still looking for a kill. Notice Ramen in a pretty hard position. They are recalling one back into fight. Notice, though, he doesn't want the Wild Ring Ripper. It was all a ruse.
Interesting choice by Sexy Fat, honestly, to go for Hooded. I say interesting, peculiar. To go for Hooded Defiance as opposed to the Vanguard, because what magic damage are you? Spirit Darkseer? I mean, it's not bad. But
Oracle.
But compared to the Lycan's Burst right now, which Crimson Guard completely saves you from, right? To some degree, the Troll as well, because he's attack speed based hero, which means Crimson Guard is great against him. And also, Crimson Guard is cheaper than
they do feel you're completely right. I'm just maybe as a pipe addict myself, that makes me sound really bad. But as someone who likes building pipe in their Dota 2 games, in the few games I play off lane, I mean, they've got a lot of early magic damage as well, right? It's not like the Centaur doesn't do too poorly. Sexy Fetch is going to let him TP away. It's not like he does too poorly.
But he shows himself.
He
does.
I'm
here.
I mean,
I could cancel.
You could see, we had 2 creep just kill himself thanks to the Retaliate aura, right? So it's like, as long as he's in front and still tanking a little bit, I feel like it's not that bad for the pipe, I guess they're more concerned with allowing the TB to live. Right?
I guess that's the point.
Because TB, he's got what? I mean, 25 armor already. What does he need a Crimson Guard for at this point? Really, what he needs is to make sure that the Earth Spirit in like 3 spells doesn't deal a quarter of his HP or a third of his HP.
Like, I'm not a big fan of pipe on offlaners, but if there's an offlaner that can build pipe as first item, it's definitely Centaur.
It is, yeah.
And I hope they're not recalling Deadly.
No. And they need one as well to save the TV or to give them that extra little second, maybe even half a second to maybe get a Sunder off. That's the only thing I could see this game.
No, but I agree with that point. I think that's a valid enough justification to build pipe first. Right?
Yeah.
Especially because he went for pipe, right? If he went just for hood, I mean, like, okay, weird. But if he's going full pipe, or like, say that was like a Eternal Shroud, I would complain.
Yeah.
But with a pipe, it makes sense.
And he doesn't go for the full pipe. He goes Hood of Defiance, Blink Dagger,
which is the right build. I still think Crimson Guard later is useful, but maybe early you don't fear the troll as much.
I agree, especially because right now for bait, you're not cooldown dependent right now, but when Dendi starts to fall off naturally as Storm Spirits do, not fall off, but you know, not be able to kill cores consecutively. Oh, Dendi, speaking of which, nice silence there, which prevents the rolling boulder from coming out. That should save its life. But when Dendi eventually can't really solo cores, like right now, if he jumps on the Troll, Troll is dead. But for now, Troll is going to be killing the Coddle. Coddle is dead first. Wolves chasing down Sexy Fat. A Stampede has been used. Silence. We've got Boulder Smash in a second and another stun to use. Sexy Fat with the Hook Stomp. He'll be a little bit faster, but he is not going to be able to run. Even with the Hood of Defiance providing a little bit of the barrier, he will fall. What was I going on about? Oh, right. But eventually they are going to be a little bit dependent on having Metamorphosis up, or the Terror Wave up, or whatever, right, to be able to skirmish and fight. And the reason
I would say right now they are kind of.
Yeah. I would say like
depends on the shapeshift.
I would say that really well. I kind of agree with you because of the presence of the Oracle. In most games, if this was like a Witch Doctor 5, right, I might go, well, maybe when we get BKBs on the right? That's really when a Storm Spirit's like, all right, your time is over. It's time for me to have fun. Yeah. But this game, I could definitely see it. I feel like having the Crimson is going to be nice because right now that downtime is incredibly punishing. I mean, we've already got a Necro 3 up and Wolves from Lycan. Darkseer pushes the lanes very quickly. Troll Warlord does a ton of damage with Fervor, so he's able to do that very nicely. So having the block or the guard for your buildings can buy you maybe up to an extra 30 seconds here, which is not an insignificant amount of time here, especially when you're waiting for Metamorphosis to come up on cooldown. So I still like the idea for the Crimson, but pipe first.
I agree. That was with you a while ago. I was going to say here that that VP.Prodigy right now are getting to the point where they're probably strongest when you still cannot properly fight. Yeah, that's interesting to go for the Shard in this game. I can see that for a TB, honestly, if you're trying to play around.
Oh, maybe for Dendi, who could use it now. Oh, we did it! We saw it!
That was the vacuum, yeah? Yeah, vacuum out of the ball lightning. We did see it. Okay. Richie is the happiest man in the world right now. They catch the Coddle as well. I think Duster is in trouble. Yeah. The Duster, unfortunately, is not going to have an easy game this time. It's really easy to murder him with an Earth Spirit and the Lycan. Yep. And now it's starting to get difficult for Bait, and they can no longer play this game normally. I like Bait's lineup because they have a great lineup for, like, say, a contingency plan, where you start to cut lanes, you ignore the enemy fights, you kind of split push as much as you can with Storm, Shadow Demon, and Coddle, and you sacrifice Shadow Demon and Coddle as much as possible, and Storm will probably cut lanes more effectively. But they're not playing that way, right? Like, even if your draft has the ability to elongate this game, if you take too long to start doing that because you're like, oh, we can still take this, we can still play this normally, that's when you start losing against these fast lineups. So this is starting to be a mistake by Bait.
Yeah, Dendi's got the Kaya now as he's going to get vacuumed out of the ball lightning. Aegis in the inventory of Noticed. He's got his 10-second BKB ready to go. Celebrity with the mechanisms going to be doubling back now for the Aghanim Scepter. Looks like AC is nearly completed for Laurel, so a lot of big items for RDO. He's not doing too poorly yet either. He is going to be going for... Hold on, I'm very confused here. What? Eggs? First? And then in BKB?
Yeah, that's Eggs.
Okay.
I think the Axe.
Oh, there it is. Okay, that's why. I was like...
I think the Axe this game is really, really good. Because you need that 10-second Metamorphosis. The Terror Wave is fantastic because it yeets Lycan out back into his base, right, when he's shapeshifted with a Terror Wave. But also, having a 10-second Metamorphosis means any attempt with shapeshift, right, that you can mitigate with a simple meta or with a simple Terror Wave is good enough, and you don't have to waste the meta, and then you can still use the meta for defending high ground or dealing with a troll or whatever it is. And VP.Prodigy depends a lot on Lycan right now. So but Node is starting to get online.
VPP, they're going to go for a bit of a kill here as they get the silence on a Sexy Fat. He pops the full pipe, though, and the disruption onto the Earth Spirit. They might be baiting him, or they might be just leaving him for dead. It's bait, but Laurel's going to show underneath the Tier 2 tower, breaking the smoke, and go ahead and back up here on the side of Bait. What was I going to say here? You brought up a really good point that I wanted to continue on.
Tearaway versus Lycan?
Yes. Oh, right. I should know this. But if Troll is in his ulti, if he's battle trance and he gets feared, you know what has priority? Is it the fear? If he gets feared, but he's also
battle trance. Oh yeah, no, you fear away.
Okay, you do fear. Alrighty, Duster likely to die here as
pretty
well.
certain. Now it made me doubt if I'm pretty certain.
I'm pretty certain as well. Duster should be dead here. Yep.
Okay. I think he's starting to cut lanes right now, which is justifiable. Like I said, he's meant to die. If they catch Lycan here mid, it's been great, but Celebrity's actually doing a really good job sitting Lycan.
There's a Terror Wave.
Terror Wave is not going to hit him, though, and instead he just avoids it really easily. Terror Wave is not fast enough. You have to force Terror Wave right as Lycan is on top of you, otherwise it won't work because he's a bit too fast. He can outrun it really easily, much like Ravage.
725, man. That's his move speed, not my MMR.
No, and his MMR is much lower.
That's true. They're going to get this tier 2 tower here relatively easily. Luckily, we only use the Terror Wave there, so we still have the meta. Terror Wave, though, having a pretty long cooldown, pretty comparable cooldown as well. Really needs his Coddle to give him more mana to get that cooldown down a little bit more. Does that work, actually? It does. It completely works with Terror Wave. All right, so that's actually very, very useful.
Yeah, that's part of the combo of the Coddle, right? It's like, oh, I have double meta now. They both get refreshed.
Yep,
Talk of magic.
That's pretty nice. But this is kind of what I'm talking about here. Is we see with the 2 lives that Bait lost there, they already lose 2 tier 2 towers, and that's all the other towers already. And in fact, VPP, they're looking for a bit more here. We still have got Aegis on our Troll Warlord. This is going to be good for another minute and a half, or just thereabouts. Down goes the tier 3 tower. Right before I could even finish that sentence, but they're going to be looking to now gank the back line. Sexy Fat with the blink stun onto 2. That's going to allow Denny to jump in. He dodges the vacuum. Oh no, but on the cliff, it's Arteezy. No, wait, it's RDO. Either way, he's going to get the disruption. Notice, though, he's going to be toggled on over to the Sexy Fat RDO. He's got the Thunder, but he's not going to be able to use it, Avo. Notice, with the double kill, Force Major locking down the backliners again, misses the rolling boulder. That's going to allow Duster to TP away just barely, but Dendy will not be as lucky. Force Major's going to catch him, and look at the critical damage coming in with all that minus armor they've got.
Now you actually start to struggle. How are you going to defend this? They took too long to realize they were losing, and PvP has just been given a free game completely. Now they're going to kill Duster, and I think this might be game.
I think it is game. None of these guys have buyback, Avo. There's even if they do, there's no Thunder. Or Terror Wave, for that matter.
Yeah, I'm not sure about
this. Is Megas.
This is Megas at least. What was Bait been doing, dude? Like, the past 5-10 minutes seems like they completely forgot what lineup they're playing against, and they've just been trying to take team fights which did not work out, not cutting lanes, not really threatening the Lycan at all. Alright, I mean the lineup, it's okay to play a safe lineup, but I think in this game you maybe played it a bit too safe, and they punished you for it. Bye-bye Centaur. TSA, first to die, Sexy Fat has Stampede, doesn't matter, he gets killed in the middle of his Stampede, and they're just fountain diving now, because they can't. They have a Ghost Scepter Nurse Spirit. Alright, he's gonna die though.
Yep, he yeeted right back in there.
It's still a game though.
It is very much still a game.
He took a mid, he's mid at 25.
Yep.
Yeah. Jungling.
They're going to go ahead and walk away. If needed, they can always come back. There's Aegis being reclaimed. Notice, though, it's not going to stop him. And in fact, he's going to now trigger the ultimate. Look at the damage.
Oh,
there's the one punch.
Yeah.
Oh, GG is called. RDO gets sent to the stratosphere by One Punch Man. And they will fall in game number 1 here to VPP. 25 minutes. What a snowball end.
Yep. I mean, I pointed this out in the draft, right? One draft might be safer in the Bait draft, which is why we usually side with a safer draft. But if you can play this really well as VP.Prodigy, this is how they take games. They take games.
ban.
Be able to hear
10 seconds remaining.
whether or
Dire
not
team ban.
you should give me dashboard access so you can do it from here.
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban.
It's just pretty.
It's a prediction, or it should be prediction, because obviously a poll wouldn't give you the same thing.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Ready?
Hello, guys. Welcome back to the lower division of the Eastern. We're watching a game between Bait and Prodigy, and we're still stuck in traffic, which is why Rich.
I'm not looking at my phone. You shouldn't look at your phone while driving. What I'm actually doing is adjusting the fuel intake here on the engine to put it into eco mode, because I don't want to be wasting energy in the city when we're just sitting still in traffic.
That's very ecologically responsible. Some people are asking about seatbelts. By the way, I just are in fact wearing seatbelts. You just can't tell. You have these special transparent.
Yeah, what are you guys, cops or something?
Yeah. Also, if you come to Malaysia, you'll understand not wearing seatbelts as part of the culture, as the language is.
Well, you know what part of the culture is here in Dota? Dendy in the mid lane. Unfortunately, here for game. I mean, it's true. I mean, come on, Dendy in the mid lane.
I'll give you.
Oh, come on. How is this supposed to segue from Malaysia to this game?
Move on.
In any case, here, if you liked that one, go ahead and let me know in the chat. It'll make me feel better. For now, though, what'll make Bait feel a little bit better is getting a little bit of a better start here to game number 2. And our draft is now underway. Why don't we look?
Oh, we're actually moving into the draft. Let's go. Let's go.
That's the wrong one.
Traffic finally moved.
Traffic is finally moving, and now we're going into the draft here.
Ah, that was really good timing. VP.Prodigy versus Bait. The game's about to draft is just beginning. Nick Sasson and Rubik are the first picks, neither of which defines anything, because they're both picks that work, and honestly, any Nick is probably a bit better than Rubik, but not by much. Love the Rubik when they were playing on 5-up, and I didn't like it much as on a. They played a couple times. I'm not really sure about TSA.
It's one of his most played heroes.
It's one of his most played. Okay. So I guess any position 4 here.
Granted, TSA is extremely new to the scene.
Yeah, so that's why his stats are.
He's got. So usually, like when you see like newer players and you like try and do a deep delve on them and like Dota buff, I'm sure this like me do maybe like a couple people chat as well. But if you like are ever curious and you look at some of the teams. Yeah, a lot of the veterans do, and a lot of the Dota 2 watching veterans. Oh, it's a new name. Who is this guy? You take a look at their Dota 2 page, and normally it's like, oh, they only have like 100-something matches, but like 80-something of these are tagged as amateur, right?
Yeah,
Which means it's like your I mean maybe $100 prize pools. Normally like your league, right? I mean just casual leagues.
Yep.
For this guy, interestingly enough, what I saw on his page was he's got, I think, like less than 200 games played, but the majority of them are already professional or premium tier tagged. So he basically just was straight into it already on top of or involved in the pro scene. And I think that's I don't know. I mean, it's still unwritten history. But I'm eager to see how TSA's career will develop from here. He, I believe, hails from the Russian Federation, according to his flag on Dota buff. Of course, that can change. You can set that manually, so that might not be accurate. But as far as I know, he is Russian.
Well, VP.Prodigy, they took in number 1 pretty well. They've shown some relatively creative drafts. I think what I like about this team, as I always mention, is that they have their own defined style of play. Right. Yes, it might be simple, like, oh, my Lycan buys books and goes brr, but the reality is that being able to play these kind of early game drafts as effectively, ignoring the lanes, trying to punish enemy mistakes, etc., is still pretty impressive. Most of this time, though, since Bait has second pick, and therefore the best way, this is the best kind of draft to second pick. You can protect them with 3 bans. That's why VP.Prodigy take away the Terrorblade. So important to note, RDO will have to expand his hero.
5 seconds remaining.
Maybe they heard my plea.
Remaining.
Oh, we're gonna force RDO to pick something else. Not that RDO has a bad pool of heroes, but
No, he really doesn't.
he
I
just
think
really loves Terror.
he just really likes the TBA. Yeah, I mean, he really likes a Spectre as well. That's not really pickable to too much these days, though, I
I mean,
think.
RDO is like, if you compare the two Terrorblades, or the two big Terrorblade players, particularly both, which is Costabile and RDO. Costabile is definitely much more of the mid-game player besides the TB. Yes, he's good as Spectre, he can play these heroes as well, but RDO has always been closer to like Raven, if you can know from SCA, right? One of those really hard carries that just try to carry the game. The RTZ style of play, he's the really someone that's looking to farm consistently, not make any mistakes, carry the game on.
Yeah. I do want to mention as well, because we haven't brought it up yet, that Bait no longer have a coach, right?
Not a coach, man.
Manager, thank you.
Yeah. He decided to leave the scene. He allegedly said that he was burnt out, which is why he said that he was burnt out. Why they decided to part ways. The best, a very serious issue, and first, but seems like Bates. And Bates not doing great right now, but I don't think it's particularly because his TV left, right?
No, I don't think. I don't mean to imply a correlation there or
No,
anything.
I know you
and
didn't.
as you said, mental health very important, especially in a field like esports where it can feel like you're always on, right? It's very little.
Tell me about it. When's my weekend again?
There can be very little time off and stuff like that. Speaking of the weekend, on the weekend here, some nice little scrambled eggs in the morning. That's what we got for VPP. Mars and Phoenix going to be the combos here for the team fight.
Week I only eat white toast. Weekend.
Is
I
that-
treat myself to
is
scrambled
that,
eggs.
well, that's a very American thing, I think. Get a big old breakfast on the weekend. Go to a nice diner. I just miss America.
Fame we would never have. Like when you scrambled eggs is like.
Do you have huevos rancheros in Spain?
It is Mexican. Order them if you want to. Well, huevos rancheros? Like you can.
All right.
I usually just in Spain the kind of the base meal is get some sort of sausage and then add anything that gives you a bunch of cholesterol. Put it all into one plate and you
Very nice.
with bread.
Very nice.
And usually
and tomato.
And usually
And olive oil.
whatever you have on that plate, you also put you also dip it into the coffee. My dad dipped chorizo in coffee. No shame whatsoever.
Chorizo is a pork sausage for those
Yes,
that do
like
not
a
know.
slightly spicy pork sauce. It's like pepperoni but spicy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going to see any scrambled eggs here in this draft. Well, or
Yeah,
not
no egg
yet.
hitters as of now.
That's exactly my segue. Look at that. This is that time I nailed it.
You know what? I like the pick of Dusa here. I know Nyx is a problem, but Dusa's great against Mars, so something isn't really well. And RDO loves Dusa.
Yeah.
And it suits well with your draft because Titan is great at protecting her, and so
The Nyx is such.
Radiant team pick.
Oh.
yeah. Arc
I
Warden.
like the
okay.
Arc Warden.
Okay.
That's the Art. I think that's an RDO hero.
That is an RDO hero.
Yeah, I was
He
about to
loves
say,
the Arc Warden.
I don't know if Dendy plays too much Arc Warden.
I don't know
But I
either.
know for sure that that's on RDO as well. Yeah, so there's an egg hitter, right? Because of course the clone does count as a full hero for things like hitting egg, so you can actually chew through it very quickly. It doesn't dispel you, of course, when you summon the clone, but the new clone spawns without any debuffs, so he get to hit an egg immediately.
They changed that a while ago.
Oh, what?
They changed that a while.
Okay. Am I still correct on that though?
I think so, but I'm saying that they changed that. I'm pretty sure they changed it.
Okay,
Used to be,
okay.
Which was no. VP.Prodigy, they pick up a, I think, carry Bloodseeker, which is a good answer to the Arc Warden, because with Arc Warden, really a way to beat him is just get close to him. It's very similar to how you play Drow. And frankly, most carries in the metagame, or in general, counter Arc Warden. Any carry that can kind of get close to you pretty much counters you. But what Bloodseeker does especially well is that even if you go for the Shard nowadays, the Shard from Arc Warden really counters Ricky, Band, of course, EA, or Anti-Mage, because you push them out and they have to walk towards you, which they hate doing because they depend on their Blink's ability. However, with Bloodseeker, not the case. With his extreme movement speed on Thirst, you walk in, he pushes you out with a Shard, no big deal, you walk back in, like it's nobody's business, right? You have so much mobility. And even with Hurricane Pikes for Arc Warden, which is usually the build to deal with these kind of heroes, not really useful against Bloodseeker, so it's a pretty solid pick. Not considered traditionally an Arc Warden counter, because he's not often played as a carry, but I think in this game it's a good idea.
Yep. Provide some solid zoning as well to keep Rubik undying, and even to some degree the Tide Hunter at bay with the Blood Right, especially in the laning stage. Tide's quite a tanky boy, so he can afford to tank a few of the Blood Rights, but eventually that pure damage does add up, so he's not going to be wanting to stand in them for too long.
Yep.
Of course, I think this is actually probably a safe lane Bloodseeker, I think.
I think so. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think it's a carry Bloodseeker. It's most likely what has been played these days, right?
It has, yeah.
Bloodseeker. We've seen it much more so than before. I think people are starting to try it. People know it's good, but I'm surprised with the amount of safe lane Bloodseekers I see that honestly don't. Like when I saw, again, not trying to throw flame here, but I remember seeing Miracle on Bloodseeker. I was like, I don't know if you've ever practiced this here, like in the way that he's supposed to be played now. And then you compare him to someone like Hector playing Bloodseeker, which was incredible. Or we've seen some really big difference in the performances for this. I think people assume he's a very easy hero to play because he is basic in a sense, but his itemization is difficult. When you have to fight, when your power spikes kind of are not easy either. I don't think this hero is like the, oh, I could just pick him if I've never played him before. Because the hero depends a lot on the feels that you right? Do I feel like I'm strong here? Do I feel like I can fight here? Should I be farming here? Should I be fighting? Because you can farm really fast, but you need to take advantage of your lane, etc., etc. So
yeah, he's pretty gankable as well.
Yes.
As far as like an offlaner would go, especially if you're going to be playing him in that role, he doesn't really provide you the sort of save or the sort of sustain that most offlaners naturally have. Like if you take a look at the Mars, right, he can fear you, push you away. Even sometimes the God's Rebuke is enough to create a little bit of space for him to just safely TP.
Yep.
Whereas Bloodseeker, he really doesn't have any of that. So it can be hard, like you're saying, for you to get that combo. It probably is a carry Bloodseeker, though, of course, since we already have the Mars pick. Could still be a mid lane Mars. There's a tiny bit of flexibility. But with Bait banning both of these spirits here, it's likely to be...
Oh,
okay.
Interesting. I mean, VP.Prodigy actually, I believe it was them who ran this. Arl. I think we already cast the one game. Oh, I want to say. Because I remember seeing this pick before in this lower division. But I don't know if it was them particularly.
We've definitely seen it in the lower division. Unfortunately, my memory is not as clear as yours. I can't remember who it was. It was a mid lane sniper, though.
It was a mid lane sniper. Interesting choice, huh? I mean, he's really good against Tombstone, right? So that's a Tide is not as strong in Sniper until you get the Blink Dagger. Sniper can usually deal with Arc Warden decently because you just need an MKB. The bubble. Arc Warden counters ranged heroes, but not in the case of Sniper. Because you have too much range.
Exactly. Yeah. Way too much range.
I actually kind of like the VP.Prodigy draft. I mean, this time I think you don't have as consistent a push. So even though you have an early-ish oriented draft, you're not going to be able to finish. But I also don't think that matters too much to you because you actually have pretty solid late game kill. Bloodseeker scales fine now, and so does Sniper. I'm not really sure who I'm siding with.
I'm not too sure either, because I think even no matter what happens, if VPP have an awesome game, Celebrity's going to be dying all the time. If Bait have an awesome game, Celebrity's also going to be dying all the time. And that makes it hard for me, because it's like, you look at all the counter initiation, a Tide Hunter, a Rubik for a lift, he's got some good spells to steal here, Arc Warden, who loves to initiate versus heroes that like to go in alone, like the Mars, he's not going to have backup in there, so the Flux is going to tear through him. He's just solely going to be useful for setup and that initial sort of start. So the team fight here, DSA is going to need to move in, get off, and Sniper Laurel ideally just sits on his laurels and just right clicks people from outside of the arena, right? That's his dream game. But either way, I mean, I don't know, because the problem is if your Mars dies, that's it. That's all of your initiation. Maybe with the Nyx Assassin, you can get off to like you try and catch your enemies off guard. But I would say in professional games where they know where the Nyx wants to be playing, they're going to have sentries down, they're going to have detection on them all the time. It's not going to be as to me. So I don't know. To me, this game really kind of rests in the hands of Celebrity and this offlane Mars and how good of a start he can get.
Yeah, we'll see. I think that VP.Prodigy once again can really easily take over the early mid game, but the lanes matter a lot, and I do find that Bait has stronger supports for the lanes, particularly the Undying, who's going to crush them. I'm not going to say crush them, but then I would certainly say that the Undying is a pretty good matchup versus. The Nyx won't be able to do much against Undying either. Actually, nothing at all. At best, you mana burn him and make kind of a useless creep, which is your ideal situation, but even then, you're not going to be able to trade.
Yeah, that's true. It is it's a Nyx 4 with the Phoenix Dive, yeah, like you're saying.
If I'm honest, last game they didn't look too great on Bait though, especially against this early. They weren't really ready to game. I think this game with Arc Warden's a bit easier because you don't really need to do much. You just bubble the towers and you're fine.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I feel like it's a lot of the same sort of notes you're hitting, I would say, right? Is last game, oh, RDO, he needs plenty of space, he needs to get that first farming item, and then he needs to move on to start to carry the game. And a hero like the Arc Warden is still capable of doing that, but you can see, I mean, his first item's the Midas, right? Not exactly the go-to fighting item on really any core.
No, of course not. If you really wanted to play a fast Arc Warden, you'd have to go for a build that nobody builds.
The battle begins.
Yep.
But again, it sucks because honestly, the sniper is not really a farming core when you're on a mid. Usually the way the sniper is played is much more huge early game power spike. We used to see the last build that was popular in sniper as the Ag stupidity was the triple Wraith Bands, right? Or triple 4 Wraith Bands even. Sometimes back then you'd actually use Aquila because obviously it's an item, and you just used to gank, use passive, very effective. Honestly, you can play a similar variation of it now. I think he's going for Mage Slayer. Okay, yes, this is definitely the guy who played Sniper live. Because we also saw the Mage Slayer Sniper.
It is. It's pretty good. Dendi goes, oh, you try and outblock me in the mid lane? No.
And Sniper's like, I don't care. I have the Sniper.
I'm Sniper.
You know, he's the most annoying hero to last hit against because his last hits depend entirely on luck. Because you calculate last hits based on your headshot, right? Of course, you don't actually calculate it based on your base. Would lose. So most of the time, whether you get a deny or a head or a last hit, it's based on did you get the headshot proc. And that's so stupid. How do you predict that, man? Oh my goodness, this hero is dumb.
Well, you've got to what's it called? You got to prime them, right?
Yeah.
If you don't headshot twice in a row, chances are you know it's coming.
Because pseudo RNG, as we always say, there's only one ability that's still RNG in the game. That's Cranium Basher.
Yep, you know me, man. That's how I make all my money playing. The next one's gotta be a blackjack.
Oh my goodness. Don't actually do that,
Don't
guys.
actually do that.
That is a big sunk cost fallacy.
Exactly, but in Dota it actually exists.
In Dota it actually exists, but in life there's no such thing as pseudo RNG. Life is unfair and completely RNG.
Yes, very true. TSA here started out with the brown boots, which I do really like. That's going to make life a little bit harder for our Phoenix, who's going to struggle to actually be able to contest him here. TSA already paying off the boots for himself, getting the courier kill onto Notice. That's going to cut his passive. Actually, doesn't cut passive income anymore. He might be in some trouble. We do see the Gush Anchor Smash build being the preferred one these days as well. Phoenix is not going to really be able to do much against a lot of the damage as well that Bait have here in this lane. That's going to be kind of the scary part as well for our Bloodseeker. Got good sustain if he can actually get last hits, but the Phoenix, he just brings damage. And yes, the attack speed slow in some lanes is really good, particularly against a Slardar, right, for example, or against a Tusk, right? That's what we always saw to counter the IO Tusk when we saw that in last patch. This lane, it's just a lot of magic damage and just physical damage not tied to the right clicks here.
And that's why in this lane, I don't imagine there's going to be too much kill potential from either side unless you overextend here, right? Because Phoenix is a really good defensive support as well. But in the top lane, that's where they are really going to try to play this aggressively, right? Arc Warden is actually kind of strong in the lane against melee heroes. And if Undying gets enough of his K stacks, then yeah, you can probably kill the Mars if he makes a mistake here. But RDO probably waiting for that level 6 power spike.
Oh yeah, and then he's gonna, you need to save mana for that one, as we can see in the mana burn, like you said.
Yeah, that's the right build. Because then Duster becomes a creep, and Duster's like, what do I do now? Do I commit suicide? Do I bring mangoes to the lane? Do I cry?
Yeah. And of course, you know, denying himself, quote unquote, underneath the tier 2 tower, tier 1 tower, to come back to the lane with full HP and mana to be able to do something, because you're right, he doesn't do a whole lot to the lane here. RDO in trouble. Oh, he's got plenty of mangoes though, so he preempted this one. That's going to save RDO. Force Major taking a bit of damage. He's going to be okay here as well. He's got his buddy to walk him home.
Flux in the long lane is not that great. Unless you... Like, it's only good if there's only a single hero there, then it becomes brutal, right? But when you're playing as an off-lane, unless the off-lane doesn't know what Flux does, you're always going to get them to join together.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why in like pubs, if you play a low-level Arc Warden, is great, because everyone's like, run away from the Flux target! Run away from him!
Nobody knows what Flux does. Everyone runs away from Flux, and they also run away from an Oracle who's trying to false promise them.
No, that's a very common...
Yeah.
But the Oracle thing is more of a pride thing, it seems like, whereas the Flux thing is just plain ignorance. You get so many free kills in Arc Warden in the lower levels that are not deserved.
Hey, Stream's going to spawn top. We'll see what Laurel will make use of this. Looking to try and get some CS versus Dendi, but there's going to be first blood top lane. Duster will snag that one. RDO in danger as well as becoming second blood, rather. We had the spear, but not really a great lineup there to throw it. So good restraint shown on Celebrity. He's now got plenty of mana to be using. He's going to give his support a heal. That I didn't know it worked that way. I only thought supports could give healing cells.
No, it turns out you can actually give it to supports too. But
I don't believe that.
Yeah, that was so the top lane is working as we said. The mana burn is making the Undying not so useful, and even though Undying has a good matchup against Mars, who cares? Nyx exists here, and yeah, they're killing RDO again. RDO went for the early bubble, which also makes it much more difficult for him to put any aggression on. So you don't punish aggression as hard. Instead, you just try to survive. They do kill Force Major. Okay, that's nice, but you lost RDO twice already. Or sorry, once already. DSA in the bottom lane might die. Last hit here by TSA. And Notice doesn't really know what to do against his Tidehunter because he's like, I don't hurt him at all.
Yep, he's like, oh, I'm really fast because oh, wait, it's a Tidehunter. I mean, look at this. Yeah.
Once you get phase boots, though, that increases your turn rate when you activate them, of course. And then that allows you to relatively easily take advantage of your movement speed and avoid those anchor smashes. But with a range increase on anchor smash as a Bloodseeker, it's much more difficult. Because now actually has a look at that. Actually, it doesn't seem melee at all. All right.
Well, it's like Monkey King's melee.
It's like Monkey King's melee.
Well, that's probably what they needed to do. It's like Ice Frog. Why am I not? Why is Monkey King able to hit me, but I can't anchor smash? What is this? I've got an anchor, and this guy picked up a stick from the jungle, called it his own, and he's able to hit me with it.
Yeah, but he did carve this stick, right? Whereas you just seem to like.
It was customized. He used one of the Artificer's hammers.
Yeah, you picked up an Edgar from like the bottom of the sea for no reason, right? I don't think Tide put that much effort into his weapon.
He probably did. It's probably from a ship that he stole.
Ideally, Konka's Duster.
Oh, that's true.
Let's see. Headshot. Yep, he got a lucky headshot there, which might allow for the kill, but the cold snap does save Duster. Instead, his Laurel's in trouble. He gets the vision thanks to the Nyx. That's all they wanted. Assassinate will guarantee the kill. And now Dendi overextending, underestimating the power of a sniper. He does a tornado. Fairy Fire's ready for Laurel. That's not going to save his life. But in exchange, I think Dendi might just die to the Nyx Assassin. Force Major, last hit, will do the trick. And I would say it's a win for VP.Prodigy. You still get a kill on Dendi. I mean, he does get the experience of the Sniper, but Sniper got the kill on Undying beforehand, so he's not sad about that. And Sniper respawns earlier, which means comes back to the left.
Yeah, I would say so. Did anyone? Yeah, the Undying. No, he just back top lane. Yeah, I would say it's a small one for VP. Good. Just because you just have one more kill, right?
Exactly.
All right, I mean, Celebrity here is going to drop the arena, pin the Arc Ward into the walls. Nice telekinesis there to stop the Impale from coming. He's going to try anyway. Only hits Duster. Force Major.
Stay near the creeps. Don't move for the creeps.
Oh, he knows. He knows. Played against this guy once or twice. The Arc Warden, that is.
I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, Force Major. He's not a Spike Carapace, so he's not too worried about Arc Warden. If you can mitigate that level 6 peak, honestly, Arc Warden does not feel like such a...
Yeah, it's a lot like the Visage, where he's going to try and kill you right at level 6, and you need to kind of run away from him. But then after that, he's fine. And they're actually kind of delaying the level 6 just a little bit now with this pseudo tri-lane they've got going. I hesitate to call it a tri-lane because, of course, it's 7 minutes, 30 seconds in. The Tidehunter doesn't really need anyone bottom anymore, so he's best off getting solo experience. So the Rubik's just trying to do something here. And that's why he's standing so far away out of XP range, right? So well played to TSA for acknowledging this, but even then, it's still going to just slightly slow down RDO's level 6 tier.
The build from Arc Warden here with the bubble is not great at taking advantage of level 6. It's a bit more of a farming build, so I think they already acknowledge that this is not going to be an easy game for the Arc Warden.
They've also booted the Tidehunter out of the lane using Rupture. Yep.
Can't dispel that, so...
Nope.
Stuck on that Kraken Shell.
Would try. Wouldn't. Celebrity, he's going to have the arena in 10 more seconds, but again, 2 supports here. Zone him away from the Arc Warden, who's extremely vulnerable to that combo. Doesn't really like being pinned inside of an arena. He's more of like a free roaming kind of guy.
Okay, Dendi is actually rotating early this time. Noticed, in trouble. Yep, that's gonna be a kill relatively easily for Dendi.
Yep.
Bit of a mistake from Notice to, first of all, I mean, this is the BSJ, right? Whenever he says his videos, don't touch the tier 1 off lane, right? Unless you have a team with behind you, you know that they're not gonna rotate. But you have an Invoker, like Quas Wex, he's really fast at rotating, and Bloodseeker is not great against him with the Tornado, so you have to be a bit careful there. I think that was he wasn't thinking about it. Celebrity will die to that level 6 Arc Warden though. We've been putting it out this whole game and they still get the kill.
Yep, they do. Dendy, though, they're going to try and exchange his life for theirs. Assassinate is just going to catch him. Down he goes. TP gets canceled. Laurel here. Now set to work on the mid-tier 1 tower as they're going to play aggressive top lane. And then Fonts, VP are going to make an effort for the tower, maybe? No, probably not on this wave. I think it's a little low. But Dendy, yeah, like you said, he rotates nice and early. Noticed caught off guard there by the Quaswex Invoker. He also gives him his first 2 earn charges, which is pretty consequential as well, as TSA most likely to die here as well. He's got some stick charges. He's still gonna get off though.
This sniper is playing exactly what I expected. Except he's also getting Uber Eats to his lane where he's getting free feed. I don't know. These plays I don't think are the best ones by Bait, but also Laurel is playing extremely aggressively, which is exactly as you expect a sniper. And actually, interestingly enough, in Brazil, HFN, when he used to play mid for a while, he actually used to love the mid lane sniper, particularly would go for a Midas, and he played like a really aggressive but also farmy sniper, which is something that we're seeing here as well. He's staying in his lane, he's playing static in that sense, but he's also punishing anyone that comes here, and he's trying to put as much pressure to the tower as possible. Laurel going for the illusion rune. Dendy, I don't know if you thought you could get that. Then he just gets BB guns to the face.
Yeah, he was looking to maybe cold snap set up for the kill, but Undyne's too far away. Unfortunately, your position 5 isn't really conducive to getting you kills, just because Tombstone is kind of mitigated by the sniper, especially in the early game. That's why he's only put 2. But your Rubik is not bad for sure, but he's got to get real close to someone before he can actually hit him with the telekinesis. That's rather difficult here, especially, again, versus a sniper who naturally outranges just about everyone. Force Major somehow sneaks through the sentry coverage here. No one scouted him, so he's going to be able to see RDO farming in the triangle. He's going to give the go-ahead for VPP then to start sieging this top tier 1 tower with the wagon. They're going to have this one pretty easily peasily. Middle lane, VPP are going to do well to hold here. They actually fortify because they're set to get 2 towers here at once. If Dendy, the Deny King, will get the deny on the mid-tier 1 tower. Look for the kill onto the Nyx, who gets the Spiked Carapace stun off, but still gets mana burned. In the meantime, then, Bait are going to get set to work on the bottom tier 1 tower. They're going to try and contest this one as RDO is going to eat a Rupture. Out comes the Arena of Blood, and plenty of blood in this one as RDOs will be spilled. There's going to be now the Assassinate trying to find Sexy Fat, who has the Ravage, but doesn't really have any follow-up if he were to use it, so he's just going to have to stand and take his death. They do get the tier 1 tower at the very least. Was it denied? Nope. They actually got the tower themselves, so
not bad.
They deny the tower in the mid lane, but they lose top and mid in exchange for the tower bottom, as well as a kill on carry. So kind of a bad couple of 2 minutes there for Bait.
Yeah.
And that's really the result of, I don't know, what would you say? Because it's kind of like mismanaging your level 6 power spikes, I would say.
It's just, I'd say that much like last time, Bait doesn't know when their power spikes kind of so they always overextend ever so slightly with a team like VPP who understands pretty hardcore.
Yeah, definitely.
Seeing.
Yeah, very true, because they siege mid and top at the same time. TP bottom, get the kill. That's amazing.
Exactly. I also find that in this particular situation, like the map control matters much more for tier. Then the denying doesn't seem to matter as much. What do you think is going to happen?
He might be dead. He's going to have a TP out though.
That's what's going to happen actually. That's pretty smart. He did know they don't have much catch. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Force Major. I apologize for that.
Rubik and the Invoker here, and Ravage, I suppose, if you want to count it, which let's count it. I feel like it's fair. Are going to be only 2 sources of catch here. Sexy Fat underneath the tier 1 tower. He goes, slowing down our Sniper, who's going to run right back towards him. Tornado catches the Icarus diving Phoenix as well, but he's going to be able to get off now. The Supernova counted now by the Ravage. That's going to stun up Laurel, who's about to fall. But no, the Supernova stun just saving him from Duster, as there's a great Icarus dive. Unfortunately, Sexy Fat will spit on him to end his life. Notice now running on in, along with Force Major. Sets up for the return kill now on to Sexy Fat. Dendy's already fallen. It looks like Duster's next. The Fade Bolt's going to make him take a little bit while longer, as well as the Soul Rip, but eventually Notice, with all the Thirst movement speed in the world, will be able to get the kill. 2 kills for him, as 3 heroes will fall in the mid lane in exchange for the offlaner and the Sniper.
Yeah, VPP is looking quite powerful right now. They managed to take the early game by storm. Bloodseeker's really well farmed, honestly. Good timing for Maelstrom. Usually, what I've seen is that you, as a Bloodseeker, you want to get around minute 20, you want to have Maelstrom plus BKB, ideally half of one other item, right? Usually Sanjay Young. It's a very popular build. And if you can't get to that, then you're starting to fall off a bit, and you're taking advantage of this guy's early game and his farming potential. Game, I don't see a problem. And with Mage Slayer, I think completed, if not almost completed. Almost completed. There we go. Once he has that, Rubik and Invoker's damage is going to be really reduced early. To some degree, with Arc Warden, right? Because early on, he depends more on the Spark Rates and the Fluxes. I actually really like how VVP's playing this, though. And Bait, I like what Dendi's doing right now. He's keeping the mid lane push to make sure he still has the map control despite the lack of tower for Bait. They know that this game, they don't want to give the enemy team the freedom they gave him in the first game. But it's still you playing a late game draft against an
yeah, they're trying to avoid that issue. And now with the Midas, at least, a couple more minutes of them being really far behind, even though it's only a 2k net worth difference, because it's good for the attack speed, but, you know, there are better items you can build for attack speed in terms of its... Force Major is likely to be killed here, but he's tanking a smoke gank, and he's making them waste a little bit of time. Vendetta up in 10, but no chance to use it. Down he goes. Dendi with the kill there. So RDO, at least this game, compared to last, he is going to be able to accelerate his farm from this point out. But it's still kind of a dicey few minutes for him here until he's actually able to pick up his next item, which is going to be the Maelstrom.
Oh, and we're going to see a tornado here. Catching Celebrity. That's a Spear of Mars stolen by Rubik. Will actually impale the Phoenix and kill him. Celebrity doesn't know what to do. Against the cold snap, he is just dead cold. Yep. And when that Bait is going to be taking 2 kills relatively easily from them.
I'll call it 3. They rotate away from the next kill in the bottom lane. I'll call it 3.
That's true. It's on the off lane of the support, so VP at least is keeping like that kind of space well to them, right? They're giving all the safe farm to their 2. And with a draftless Sniper Bloodseeker, Mars kind of has to play a 3-point, right? Because you're going to have to give all the farm to these 2. Mage Slayer is now up, and we'll see the power of this item on Sniper. We already saw Laurel play this exact build last time, and honestly, it was really good. I liked it. He lost the game, mind you, but I still think the Mage Slayer worked. It's like a Diffusal Blade on Sniper, but more defensive, right? Actually makes him tank a surprising amount of damage.
Now our Rubik is a little bit more deadly here, dramatically increasing kill potential on the Sniper here with the Aether Lens alone. He's going to get another little buff here at 15. I imagine he's going to take the 10 cast range rather than the base damage. That's not probably going to be too useful for him. A little bit of trickiness business there as all of his mana burned, and will.
Oh, full snap for TSA. They do have a Ravage here. That's going to stop the Supernova coming out. Celebrity still has that Arena Blood, though. They're going to silence Duster with this and try to kill him against the Arena. But the Impale from Rubik actually stops initiation, and Duster will be killed with an Assassinate, as VPP are unable to really execute their team fight there, thanks to a beautiful Impale counter initiation by TS.
Yeah, very well done there. The Ravage as well, making sure that the Arena doesn't come off, catching them off guard. There was nowhere near enough mana for Supernova, though, so that was just like a one-way trip for our Phoenix.
Yeah, not sure. I mean, I saw it. I think he had the stick, that's why.
Charges, though, does that give you enough?
He had around 70 mana or so 9 charges.
All right. I'm not sure if it was up to 9, though, because they have to use spells to kill them. But either way, right? Force Major, there he goes, jumping right back in. TSA still alive, will burn down, however, to the damage of the Phoenix.
This strat by VPP is quite interesting. Send your support in, commit suicide with one of the 2 supports,
and trade.
Assassinate, and get the kill, right?
Yeah, which is strange, because unlike chess, usually you don't want to take trades. You don't want to make trades, rather, of equivalent value, position 4 for position 4, when you are ahead. And I would say VPP, in terms of net worth, it's not very much of a lead. 1k is, you know, you can hand wave that away. That's not even an item on any single core, right? Or a support for that matter. But because you are ahead, I feel like, well, I mean, actually, I think that's fine. Because your supports this game, you know what? They don't help you push, right? It's really Sniper is your push, so never mind.
And Bloodseeker. Both of them push with just physical damage.
You are right. You are right.
I mean, we say this like it's not Clinks or Lone Druid or whatever, but they honestly deal a fair amount of physical damage, so it's not bad. They're strong against towers. And usually, I would argue actually the way that Bloodseeker's played nowadays is more around the 20 minutes, more than the early game power spike. Right? Your laning is great, but it is moving around 20 minutes. They catch the Invoker, that's a really good bubble, but Mars doesn't seem to care too much, as the Arena is still dealing a fair amount of damage. And Phoenix is like, by my name, I will get a Supernova off this game.
And he has a good one there, just using it for the kill onto Dendi, but that's going to stop this sort of counter-initiation attempt we had with the supports inside the jungle. Celebrity's going to run on over. Duster, though, with the ward. Nah, they don't know he's here.
I mean, that was a valuable kill here on Dendi. Mind you, Dendi is the biggest space creator. It seems clearly for Bait that they're running around Arc Warden and Titan as their 2 main win conditions, whereas Dendi is going full old Quaswex build, right?
Definitely.
Which is much more around the space creation. Yeah, I like this build. So it's not Witchblade that we see very often these days. It's Vessel, BKB, probably a Solar Crest later to buff the Arc Ward.
Yeah, it seems like it. I think that's going to have a lot of utility. Maybe a Sheepstick. But yeah, that sort of older style here. Forsaken, or
That's a good
Force
impale.
Major, not
Stolen.
Forsaken. Yeah, he's going to get that Impale stolen. Nice spike Carapace. Ensures that he's basically going to be the only one to fall. They do drop a Tombstone. Unfortunately, that's not going to proc any zombies onto the sniper, so
Just
they're
vision.
gonna be able to walk away. Just vision and zoning. Rupture. Mid lane, it's for Sexy Fat. He's a tanky last, though.
Odd. I realize now, you're not misgendering them. Insulting anyone who uses those words.
No, it's not an insult.
It's lad and lass.
Well, listen, dude, he's basically like a ship, isn't he?
What?
He's basically like a ship.
Tight. Yeah, I guess he eats it. I don't know what the rupture was, by the way. Bloodseeker's like, hey guys, Tide can't dispel this. Rupture him.
I think that was I have BKB. Maybe,
Yeah,
if,
exactly.
maybe if I rupture them and they try and fight, we can win.
Also, it's rupture level 1, so you don't even deal enough damage for
No.
Tide to be bothered by the
Yeah,
rupture.
and Tide, again, he can shrug off your silence, so he's happy to just stand there. He's got Blink Dagger now, though, with this Ravage ready
oh,
to
it's
go.
true, actually. If you rupture Tide...
Speaking of Blink,
No, sir, don't go up to the high ground. No! Many a brave warrior has lost their life trying to go high ground like this.
Tide kills Dendy's Courier, though.
Yeah, honestly.
That's
That's
actually-
more gold than he did. Right?
Man,
That's-
who knows? Maybe that's going to...
That's 320 gold in total.
Yeah, and it had a TP scroll for Dendy, so if the fight starts going wrong for Bait here in a little bit, Dendy's not going to be able to TP out of it. Just keep that in mind. We always wonder, why doesn't this guy have a TP when they get caught out in some strange places? And, you know, sometimes that can be the cause. A little courier kill off of God's Rebuke. Laurel, though, is continuing to just farm.
He wants
basically
BKB.
at peace. Yep, BKB is going to be next for him. That's going to be pretty fast.
They're playing around the inflection point I was talking about, right? 20-minute mark for Bloodseeker, where he has BKB and Maelstrom. Now go for SY, as I mentioned. And the sniper is just trying to get that BKB. And once they get both BKBs, I think they're good to fight. I would still like to see a shard of Bloodseeker this game, because our Gordon tends to tank a fair amount. He has a really good strength gain, actually better than his agility gain. And the shard helps you deal pure damage based on the enemy HP, right? So it's great against Tide, great against Undying, really good against Gordon. But I've seen that a lot of, in pro games particularly, Bloodseekers don't like building on shard. I've only seen it once or twice, and both losses.
I didn't know you get thirst from the Arc Illusion. That makes sense, though. There's going to be a break, and that should be a broken and destroyed Sexy Fat here. He's going to get his armor back there.
Brutal.
Yeah, Sunray here against him, even with the headdress or the Hooded Defiance, sorry, is going to tear absolutely right through him. Percentage-based damage, as they
He's
even
dead
find
bottom.
Dendy.
TSA could also be in trouble. They hit him with the Spirit. No, they missed that.
Yep.
Nyx is like, you want to steal my Impale again?
Uh-oh.
Assassinate will hit though, and oh wow. They even TP'd there to make sure they could kill that kill.
Yep, they used the Arena of Blood there onto Dendy, actually, and the Rupture on top, as you stated. So Dendy could absolutely go nowhere. He still didn't have a TP, in fact, still doesn't. And again, you know, sometimes that's what ends up making the difference, right? His Courier dies, no TP. He just wants to stick around and push and gets caught.
Really good job. No, RDO.
Oh, that's
okay.
fake.
That's the cloak. Yeah, you see the TP, you actually can't tell what's TPing, but you still get free gold out of that, and that's all to Celebrity. Honestly, 240 gold, it's kind of a fair amount.
It's a lot of money.
That's more than the support kills, I think.
Yeah, and it's also cuts farm away from the Arc Warden.
Yes.
It makes you force the Fortify out now as well.
Yes.
You know, all these things start making a difference here. We don't have any minus armor for VPP. They could Roche, but it's really slow. And against a Tide Hunter with Undying, Invoker, it's not really a...
No.
You want a fast Roche if you're going to Roche against this lineup.
Yeah, ideally what you want to do is threaten towers and see if they want to force a fight. And because you have so much range ability with both respectively, it's kind of difficult to get a good Ravage off. Oh, at least you can also break Tide and kill him like that. Okay,
there it is.
That's another option. If Tide shows himself, Supernova, again, defensively. They rupture the Invoker, Dendy, stop running. Assassinate will stop this TP. Perfectly calculated here, and they're going to finish off Dendy rather easily. TSA will also fall to the Supernova, but the Zombie Horde going for Force Major, and the Zombies will end up getting a kill here for Bait.
Yeah.
We already lost 2 cores, so it's still a win for VPP.
You don't have a Fortify. Sniper doesn't even need to be in tower range here. You're going to lose your tier 2 here as the back door gets broken. Yeah, great fight there. Nice jump in as well by our Nyx assassin. Oh, sorry. That's the second consecutive kill, actually, he's been able to get onto the Tide Hunter, just nullifying basically their entire initiation here. And from there, it's so hard to start the fight for Bait. Who starts the fight if it's not your Tide Hunter with a nice Ravage, right? Yep. Tier 2, and now they're going to back for Roche. Again, we still have this Ravage,
This
though.
is a better Roche, right?
This is, and I think this is the point you were getting to before we were rudely interrupted by a fight from VPP, who beat us to it. Why tell rather than show is kind of VPP game, as they keep beating us to the explanations. But this is going to be a pretty easy Roche for them here.
For the Ravage? No.
Oh.
A bit late. They already got the Aegis. Sexy Fat
They dropped the Tombstone as well, which I didn't know they had it already up. But anyway, double shrapnel by the Rubik.
Oh, nice.
Laurel. Again, Laurel has BKB and Aegis. He's not too worried. He's okay with losing his first life here. If they continue to fight, this is going to be bad for them. There's the Aegis taken. Will Bait continue to fight this? Again, BKB ready. Laurel might just have to use it. There we go. Nice and pale with the Arena Blood. MP8, you might have overextended here, as Notice also uses his own BKB and to kill the two tanky heroes, and Undying and Mars also finishing off TSA in the backlines, and RTO's clone giving some extra farm to Noticed. Another good fight. I mean, if I can predict this as a caster, mind you, I think Bait should be able to as well.
Yeah, and that, mind you, is not saying, I'm stupid and I saw this coming. He's saying, mind you, I have true sight and know everything around the map that Bait don't have access to. Is
Though I am also stupid.
That's not why he's bringing it up, though, right?
Exactly. That has nothing to do with this.
No, but you're absolutely right there. I think Bait, in retrospect, they're also thinking probably the same thing you are, which is, man, that should have been an Aegis and back.
Yes, exactly.
We sniped the Aegis. We're super happy with that. That makes it that much harder for VPP to push up our high ground here.
Yeah.
Fine, even if you use Ravage for that, that's totally well worth it. But now, yeah, okay, you don't have your ultis, you get through your Aegis, but you've also died on your cores.
And you're dying on your cores with a team that can easily pick this up if this goes late, but it's not guaranteed, right? Whereas last game, the game went late enough, you're pretty much... This game against Bloodseekers, you really cannot underestimate hero.
Yeah. Oh, Phoenix is probably dead. No, there's no telekinesis.
Okay. TSA was
that was weird.
Oh, he used it early.
Oh, he did use it early. I mean, that's their only stun, right? So.
Oh yeah, I guess the lack of catch is also pretty bad. Bloodseeker suffers against catch. They catch the Undying again. They want to kill him off. Yep. Finished off the God's Rebuke. There's going to be the Tide impaled against the wall together with Bloodred as well. Bloodseeker just walks in, and Sexy Fat doesn't look tanky at all. Notice looking for the kill on Dendi. Spike Carpus against, I believe, the Cold Snap or the MP there will stun Dendi. He can't get me away either, and they use the combo of Spear and Rupture to finish him off. Duster came back into the game to die a second time. Really makes you think why he picked up an Undying to die this much.
Goodness, look at that. It's a late night show punchline from Oliver.
Hello, welcome to Jimmy Kimmel.
Hello. I thought I'm dying. This guy, all he's doing is dying.
Can't laugh.
Yeah, I mean, the fights are just looking worse and worse here for Bait consecutively, as now the net worth lead extends to 12K. I mean, this is now quite notable, especially when you factor in the Midas here that you've got on RDO, which by this point has paid itself off because he is doubling it, but still.
Look at the patience, by the way, by VVP. They see the double bubble, which is used by the clone in them, and usually most teams will be like, okay, this is a time to push. But they also see the enemy team is cut back. They know they can't really force the issue too much, so they go and just farm, cut lanes, etc., and control the enemy triangle. Dude, now as VVP, ideally, and if you can, push the tier 1. Once you push the tier 1, through the enemy triangle, you can push the bottom lane and push the mid lane, reducing the space for Bait, and making it really difficult for Bait to really propose anything. Yeah, they won't have any map control.
There's an MKB now, so they're not scared of the double bubble, or maybe even a triple bubble here. They do not care anymore. They're going to pop that bubble.
There's no more double bubble trouble.
No more double bubble trouble whatsoever. VPP here, they're going to play some pretty clinical endgame, as you're saying. They're probably going to be looking for maybe picking up a gem. They've already got some great vision near the existing objectives outside of the base. This ward's great, unlikely to be dewarded. Gives you vision on like an invoker trying to hide in here, get off a little sneak combo, a little Tide Hunter hiding in here. Gives you map control. Oh, well, come on, you know this, Mouse.
Okay. Just potatoes on the map. They can either stand in this potato spot, this potato spot.
Yeah. So, but a lot of times here for end game, I think the old TNC actually was really good whenever they got like a nice lead like this.
You mean the TNC that won the major?
The TNC that won the one major of... No, there was 2 majors in 2020. Right?
Yeah, but they won the first.
They won the first major with March captain, Morph Shaker.
Everyone remembers. That was a
everyone remembers. Those are the good old days before.
Now, Neon.
Now Neon is the force, but they were really good at this. They would buy a gem about now. They would just cut vision. They would force Bait to turtle, which is the worst thing when you're an Arc Warden. You want to get that double outside the base, but it's so hard to. For some reason, they actually still have their outpost. It's just been captured, so they still have a little bit of map mobility as they're going to be looking to try and snipe a kill. Anyone farming this tier 2 or defending the tier 2, but Nyx is going to be a little bit wiser than that. There's plenty of heroes missing off the map. So here he goes. Yep, invicted up. He didn't actually see Sexy Fat though. Nyx doesn't have good night vision. Night vision of 800.
You know what sucks about the Arc Warden in this position, or Arc Warden played a bit more on would say even faster route, right? His late game was powerful, but the whole idea of turtling bubbles and trying. But with the recent changes, Arc Warden's buffs has been mainly concentrating on longer talent, the kind of increase in levels, right? You're seeing that Arc Wardens now just want to keep them alive as much as possible, which is very difficult to do when you need to split push without vision, which makes it so that all these buffs that Arc Warden has gotten, and the reason why he's still played in competitive nowadays, don't really seem as strong because this kind of playstyle denies them, right?
Exactly, and it's not like you can just afford willy-nilly to run the double down the mid lane and farm it, because your enemies are going to kill it, and then they're going to realize, oh, he doesn't have the double, let's run in and fight.
Exactly, yes.
Like, you really can't understate how important that double bubble is, even with the MKB now on the sniper. Not just the double bubble alone, but double flux.
Everything, right? Just getting the... I mean, Arc Warden right now, especially when you're behind on farm or equal, the idea is that you either play with your clone or you don't play.
I like the telekinesis. Really good against him. Sorry, I hated to interrupt you, but
no, I agree. And it's also really good because, of course, any spell you steal, you get the shard.
Yeah, of course, yeah, that's the double, right?
That's why most Rubiks will build shard, but people have realized that actually the shard's not that bad, because on paper the shard seems pretty awful, honestly. But then once you start using it in your team fights and stuff, you realize, oh, there's actually a lot of situations where, as a Rubik, I'd rather have shard than say. Glimmer Cape or any sort of save item.
It also dramatically increases the skill ceiling of a Rubik player.
Yes.
Because Rubiks, according to the lore, they steal whatever spell he wants. He's a master, but he gets bored of them. But Rubik players IRL are much the same, except they're a little bit more studious, and the good ones will actually study which spells have Aghanim's upgrades that they can cast, right? And what they are. And you can really tell the difference here. So this game, I think the only one is really the Mars, the Spear of Mars. Vendetta, if you steal it, is actually pretty darn good, because you reduce the magic resistance by 20%.
Oh, and the Spirits, actually.
Is not bad, yeah.
Constant Spirits is pretty solid, I would say.
Yeah. Blood Rite, I mean, a little bit less so, I would say.
No, because you don't get it. Blood Rage only affects...
Yep.
Only affects the blood. With a shard, it only affects the...
I guess for the sniper, well...
No, because you don't get the grenade.
Radiant's bottom tower is
That's an extra... Even though it's pretty good, by the way, but not this game. Sir, I don't know if he's trying to cut lanes here. I mean, the Invoker was nearby, so maybe they're major. With a clone, it shouldn't be too difficult. Spike Carpus. He's like, nah, I'm going for you, Dendi. He has a Yol Scepter.
He knows Dendi's somewhere nearby. They are TPing some friends over to help him, though. Really tanky boy. The Impale onto Dendi. They're going to be able to get him. Oh,
nice
no.
Hey, bye-bye, Dendi. And they don't even care about the clone this time, because they know the clone's stuck there anyway.
Yeah, it's used its teleport. It's going to time out, so they're going to go ahead and signal the charge here, pretty much. Get the buyback out of Dendi.
Oh, and they know it's on cooldown as well, because of the duration of the clone. So they know they can push here with only one bubble.
They're, again, going to be playing this one a little bit more patiently, though. They didn't have everyone there, but nice patience there, like you're saying, from VPP. That time, I'm just going to put a spotlight here on Force Major, who goes, yeah, I know there's a Dendi here somewhere. I'm going to use my Carapace just to delay my death a bit longer. He calls a TP because they realize they can get a kill, and they do.
Yeah. The problem here the reason why APP is not able to push, of course, is because very intelligently Bait did cut lanes. Poker, so that was the right play anyway. Of course, the reality is that losing, dying in your Invoker by cutting lanes is not ideal, but I guess Invoker... You have a really difficult time breaking high ground against Bait.
I mean, yeah, you do, and unfortunately, as you say, that's kind of the reality of Dendi's farm this game. Really, his impact is, I mean, you show me this build here, you black out the name, and you black out the laning stage, and you just show me the end game, and you go, okay, so it's like Arc Warden mid, Invoker position of 4, right? Like with this farm.
Oh, they catch the Nyx. This time it should be a kill. Spike Carpus. Oh, very nice. Spike Carpus. He's trying to go for the kill on the Rubik. Oh, Nyx, you cheeky bug.
You know, funny enough, he might have gotten that kill, but TSA spiked Carapace, who spiked Carapace.
Very impressive.
No, you can't spike Carapace.
No, you spike Carapace as an auto attack.
Yes, because then Dota would crash and silly things would happen.
Yeah, it's like when you Google on Google.
Oh, yeah, and you hit I'm feeling lucky. Google's like, no, you're not.
No, internet crashes, actually. That's actually the first 2008 crash. All came because someone Googled Google.
Yep. Hate it when that happens.
They try to buy stocks in the stock market. The stocks of the stock market as a whole. Right?
I want to buy stonks of the stonks, please. And they said, nope. Sorry, stonk machine broke.
Exactly. Okay, so you get the Aegis now. This should be able... With this Aegis, I can imagine you can now push high ground. Maybe get some mana and Bloodseeker. Oh, Tide. They can fight Tide for free. Laurel is close to... That E-Blade or Butterfly? Find Sexy Fat. Arena's great against Sexy Fat, because you can't dispel, of course, Arena. There we go.
Yep.
And dispel the wall. Dispel the wall.
The poor spider trying to get out of your room.
Yeah, exactly. that is exactly what we just saw.
Oh, lordy. Yeah, he's set for 45 seconds, and that might be a high ground push. They do have Force Major back here just defending the lanes, but just trying to hunt for anyone. And if he was a bit more patient, he actually would have found Dendi, who's running around here. He's got his BKB, though. Oh.
I don't know, if Dendi has his BKB, you can't really kill. But you should be pushing now, right? Like, MKB does not work on buildings.
Nope. Only works, pardon me, on heroes.
Bloodseeker's like, oh, I never considered this. Now that he stole Spike Carpus, it's very easy to just murder him. He has the shard now, though. Thank you. Notice the first game I finally see the shard. I think very valuable this game. God, that Spike Carpus is
It's very annoying. Who gave him that?
Yeah. Force Major comes back in. He's like, can I Vendetta the tower?
Nope, can't do that one.
That way. Dendi's almost gonna die though to the sniper alone. BKBs is still available, by the way, and Cheese is still up with Notice. He has Abyssal.
Yep, and Aegis, of course.
Yeah, you're close to... Yeah, Aegis on sniper.
It's a slow siege, but eventually the building will fall. And in fact, RDO is going to deny it with the arc double. Laurel in some trouble, getting absolutely owned right now by the Zet, as he will go down. That's a Scythe of Vice on someone I saw.
Oh, no.
No.
What's the Scythe of...
Who has... He was hexed, right? Oh, is it the neutral? What? Was he not hexed?
I think you... I mean, I don't think so. I think he just
I must be losing my mind.
Must have stunned with a Spike Carpus. It's because Sniper's very small. And
he is very small, you know.
You're like, oh, he's like a piglet.
Really is. You know, sometimes I see like...
I was going for Satanic in the end. Is that Butterfly already then? Okay, Arena Blood here for the Smars just to avoid this. But they want to fight this, of course. Ravage is still available, but you still have the BKBs on Sniper and Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker's coming by. There we go, from behind. Supernova still great on DSA. Clone won't go to destroy. A on this trigger. There they go. Clone's dead. Invoker hits the egg once. Realizes it's a bad play. No BKB on time for Noticed. And the Rubik telekinesis himself actually to save himself. Not bad idea.
Yeah, Dendi's able to TP away. Sexy Fat though. Might not be as lucky. They've got a sniper rifle to deal with its big old tarantula running around in the trees. And they will be able to kill him. I mean,
like
that's
the
not...
army-based video where they try to shoot the spider.
That's not as bad. Dendi as well being incredibly annoying. He's going to drop a meatball on the wave here. And RDO is going to try and finish off this last siege creep in the lane. Oh, maybe he's going to try and go for a kill on a DSA. He's going to pop its BKB here. Decent damage with DSA, unfortunately. Oh, now with Dendi showing up, this might be a kill as DSA will drop, but there's going to be the counter initiation. Now, a Notice with the Abyssal Blade right to the face of Dendi, who has really no chance there even through the BKB.
Still have Cheese, right, on Blood?
Yes.
Yes, he does. Okay, so it's time to just push. Like, you got 2 kills, you still conserve the Cheese, you know there's no Ravage, I know there's double bubble trouble, but you just go.
Yep.
Right, Sniper.
Stolen Sunray, though.
That's pretty good, but they killed Rubik. There's your Stolen Sunray. RDO will lose his clone here relatively easily thanks to the MKB, and that's no clone. It's your time to push.
They go Rubik. No. Stealing is illegal.
Is he going to die to... No.
He almost died of the Swift Link, by the way, so Sniper has upgraded his sniper rifle into a machine gun.
That was the point of the Eagle song. That Butterfly is that E-Blade, now that makes a lot of sense. And Blink Dagger is a very popular build on Sniper as well, especially mid, so I think Swift Blink goes well with you.
I agree.
Please push, though.
Yeah, I mean...
There's no Ravage. Like, seriously, I know the Arc Warden is a really big threat, but there's no Ravage, and you're going to have to push at some point this game.
They really don't want to. They've taken the... In fact, they didn't even take the Tier 3 tower, Avo. RDO denied it.
Yeah, and his RDO is tired of defending.
It's like, come on, guys, are you kidding me?
There's not even a tower. The bubble's not even giving attack speed to anything. It's just defending the racks. And Bloodseeker's a pretty good hero to deal with that as well, because you just walk in the middle of... Or maybe just Abyssal into the Arc Warden. That would be ideal, but they can't catch up to him.
They're having some serious troubles now. RDO is pretty strong now, especially with the BKB. Of course, the clone... Does the clone have his own independent BKB charges?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So if you waste a lot of BKBs on clone, then it sucks for you, of course. What happens, though, is that ideally you want to waste the BKB clone charges first, because otherwise they'll also... So you want to use the BKB charges
on the clone first, yes. Right, because, yeah, good to know.
You won't copy it, by the way. It's only for the specific 10-second interaction. Once the clone is below you, then it's fine. The clone just takes...
Yep.
But it's just a little bug there.
No, I get you. It's gonna take if the OG Arc Warden has higher charges, it's gonna
use the lower ones from the... That's the most efficient play.
Yeah, because before I think the interaction was 9 Rapier Arc Warden. Push your base, and Valve's like, how about no?
Yeah, that was stupid. Also, with Necronomicons was also stupid. And when you would actually just summon them every time you summon the clone, because they would refresh. That was very dumb.
Yeah.
M can be an Arc Warden. I'm not sure what he's dealing with the MKB, but it's more damage, so it's not bad.
It is. I think he's just looking for damage, right?
There's no evasion I can see. Maybe DSA has a Heaven's Halberd?
We do have a halberd, yep.
Okay, so that's why. I think that's mainly the reason. Killing the Phoenix is a big deal, and you already get damage from MK.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
He's actually not choosing to use Leveler instead. He's like, we need to push buildings, guys. This game will never end.
This game is, and 23k net worth lead, 40 minutes in. I mean, let's take a look at items, right? Why don't we? Oh, are they fighting? Nope, it's just Celebrity. He's poking and prodding.
He just wants the Arc Warden so badly, but with this build, it's unfortunately not easy to get him. He has BKB and Minotaur Horn. Like, just catch him and get them spear. There's no Hurricane Pike on Arc Warden. RTO is just playing super.
He is, and well,
these are the games that Bait wins, by the way.
Yeah?
Either long form games where they can turn this around. These are the games that they win. By some miracle, they always force enemy mistakes and they win. Which is why I think VP is playing so extra defensive.
I think the problem is, yes, as you said, VPP playing very defensively, and I don't think having a sniper, although a sniper with a blink dagger and now Bloodseeker with a blink dagger, those are one-way blinks, right? So you can set yourself up to make some mistakes, right? If you blink in and you go, oh god, we forgot about the Ravage, or something silly like that. So it's possible, but I don't know if I could really see it happen. I mean, look at this. Is that a bubble? I don't think so. Laurel, he hates bubbles.
Sniper is just clone duty right now. Making sure to clean up any clones.
Yep.
He's like, you guys should not play God. You guys can't clone yourselves like this.
And then he buys Manta style anyway.
Exactly. Those are illusions. They're different.
This is a strong illusion. I can't break it with Hex the way Ice Frog intended.
Sniper, the true believer of this game.
Yep. He's going to lead the cult.
I mean, it's 40 minutes in, and VP has just been at the neck of Bait, but unable to even touch this high ground, you know? Sniper with little footsies, he can't get close to that high ground.
No,
magnetic field is so annoying.
This is like, you know, it's a big staircase for a guy with little legs, you know?
And he can't see above.
No, he can't.
That's why they can't see the high ground. Bloodseeker's also kind of short.
He is.
He's a hunchback as well.
Yeah.
He runs close to the ground.
I'm sure you can.
No, I can't. I'm 2 centimeters shorter than you. It's really nothing. Stop bringing it up.
Okay, we see finally a play. They're going to look for the sniper. They're going to be able to find him with a Ravage there. Can he live? He doesn't have the Aegis, but the Satanic active now. Machine Gun goes burr onto Sexy Fat, but it's not going to be enough lifesteal for him.
They're going to win this game.
No, I don't believe it.
They're going to win this game, dude. Like, this is how they do it. They see even the smallest mistakes, take the opportunity.
Wait, VPP are fighting now? What?
Yeah, okay, well, I mean, they have the Arena of Blood.
All right.
It's not easy yet. TSA and Dendy are dead. And notice, like, actually, I'm the carry this whole time.
Actually, guys, it was just that easy the whole time.
They left their high ground, though, so they're, of course, much weaker.
That is very true. Multiple avenues of attack. It allows the Nyx Assassin to be moving around quite easily. 3 dead for the side of Bates, and with Noticed alive, they still have some pretty good pushing power to contend with here to try and force those buybacks, but there won't be a Ravage. There's not going to be a Tombstone available either. As, there's the bubble again. Bubble trouble. They're just going to wait this one out. Fortify now to make them wait even longer. Really don't want to use any buybacks here. Dendy's back in 35. Sexy Fat in 30. The barracks, they might not have that long to live. Notice starting to get some damage out from RDO, but there's going to be the Sunray to keep them nice and healed up. Our Phoenix now will turn that Sunray onto RDO. Spike Carapace there will stun up RDO's Zet double as well off of the Mjolnir lightning bounces. And there it is. It's just that easy to take barracks, guys. You just have to kill 3 of them.
You just have to wait for them to leave their high ground.
Yeah.
Okay, so based on this pattern, if we give them 20 more minutes, they'll take the bottom racks.
Yep.
And around minute 80, they might be able to finally finish this.
That might be the case here. That very well might be the case. But RDO, he's got himself a nice little item. Now we've got the Sheep Stick here. I was about to say, there's no way we have it before. But now we do. So Sheep Stick and doubled, of course, here for our Arc Warden. That one up. Or was it Dendy's? Okay, Dendy's actually going to be going now for the Aghanim Scepter. So for the Cataclysm, he's starting to transition now into the Exhort Invoker, so a little bit more damage for him. This Axe is going to be really, really nice for him. He's got 3,300 gold already for it, but he's going to need to save his money a little bit longer here, unfortunately. Is he actually being out-farmed by Sexy Fat right now?
Yeah. Like it
yeah,
right
he
now.
is. Not by much.
Sexy Fat is the main carry after all, right?
Not by much, but you know, enough.
Because the build that the Invoker went for is much more of a space creator. Okay, we got Ags. Give it to the Sniper, honestly.
No, he doesn't want it. He blinks away. He's allergic to
Nyx.
Ags. Oh.
Okay, yeah, actually.
Yeah,
For sieging high ground,
yeah.
Burrow is amazing. So
I normally don't like the Knicks that go for the Burrow, but like you say, this game, it's hard to really find a better game for it.
yeah. I would have liked the sniper axe as well. I think that was justifiable as well, because the reducing cast point means you can stun, hit, right? But I can see the point.
Especially after the blink in.
Exactly. Talk about blinking. We're seeing a swift blink also for everyone is going for swift blink after buff these days.
It's just really good.
It's just really good, and honestly, it goes really well with heroes like Sniper or Bloodseeker because you're all about burst damage, right?
Yeah, and especially when you're trying to siege high ground, right? Getting that initial kind of blink in. That's why I feel like we're seeing so many like Morphling, so many Monkey Kings, so many Earth Spirits, right? We have a Phoenix, just kind of ignore pathing, but he's really the only one with natural mobility like that. Everyone else is going to have to make sort of a one-way trip in, and we've already seen Bait. They have no problems taking down a Phoenix.
Exactly. The Phoenix, though, is it's important for these team fights because defensive supernova is a great way to siege the high ground. Of course, though, with the Arc Warden, you're like, I don't know what to do. Like, these lanes are constantly pushed.
I mean, they're just cutting each other's waves here. It's kind of adorable. Like, they just need to like meet up somewhere and be like, wow, you love cutting creeps? So do I. We should cut creeps together in the mid lane sometimes and maybe fight.
Yeah, maybe these teams actually, they'll find out. They have more similarities than differences.
They have so much in common here.
It's like a trailer for a really dumb rom-com. And today, in this game of Dota, the high ground was the only thing dividing them. All right, VPP. Another attempt for the high ground. No creeps. RDO sends his clone. Wait, Hex, the sniper.
Yeah, it's not going to last that long, though.
Okay, he has double Hex, though. Then he dies in the bottom lane.
Yep, they find him.
Is that alone to force Major?
Oh, they're going in.
And TSA died as well. Now they're going to go for the tower. They finally have an opportunity. The bubble doesn't matter any longer because VPP can walk through the high ground easily.
Oh, now they're going to go back. There's the double bubble. Sexy Fat threatening with a Ravage. Notice the top of BKB preemptively here.
They forced 2 buybacks, though, which is a success.
It is
still have Supernova.
And they get that kill around the high ground because somehow they forgot about this little ward spot here.
Yep. Okay, Hex again against the Sniper. Sniper's like, the clones are fighting back.
Yep. I don't think so. Begun the Clone Wars have, but he's now ended them as with the Satanic, he's able to pretty easily outtrade even the Arc Ward and double, especially when it's disarmed. That just makes it a little bit easier.
Okay, Swift Blink helping the Sniper avoid the EMP for now, but he's like, okay, I just want to hit the tower. Another bubble. You get 3 hits before the ult comes out. Major? They're only going for the clone, though, here.
Yeah.
But if you lose the clone here, that's kind of a waste, unless they kill the Sniper in time. Sunstrike will hurt him. Oh,
right.
We'll lose his Aegis for free. We have a Supernova, but DSA doesn't want to use it.
No, he's going on a strafe run there, a little gun run there.
He's pretending like he's going to use it in the high ground.
He might die. Cheese was consumed.
Someone help him. Okay.
I ate the cheese.
Yeah, I can't tell.
That was weird.
Yeah, I heard the cheese too.
I heard it too. We'll take a look.
Bloodseeker has his cheese still, so he's still one more cheese. Right.
Yeah, they didn't stack him. Oh my god, that's the 2-3 fell. RDO didn't deny it either. They're just waiting out this tombstone here.
Biggest success of the game for
VPP. Will they go back in? We've got another gun run here for the Phoenix in a second. It's a go for it. I'm not sure. They're just waiting here. No one is pushing by them. Everyone in the base there. They're gonna nix up.
Oh,
Hex up the Nyx assassin
with a Supernova. That's perfect. The combo finally comes out.
They only
and they kill the Rubik and Duster.
Okay.
That's a dieback for the Rubik though. As they destroy the clone as well. They should be the chance to actually push these racks though.
Oh yeah, there's the sniper. Oh no, just kidding.
No, seriously. Guys, please, just walk in. You guys still have
Oh, Celebrity. No, they're not going for it. No.
Don't they have BKB still on Sniper and Bloodseeker?
You know.
No, okay, that's why. RTO activates his own BKB. Nyx is borrowed. He can't do much against this cold snap.
Oh,
that's an advantage, but the BKB unnoticed saves his life. Instead, they go for Sports Major, trying to finish off Dendi. He doesn't have a buyback, neither does Duster. So the Rupture is their initiation. As Notice is tired of this game. He wants to push the melee rack to the help of the Sniper. They literally jam in the high ground, or the low ground, sorry, Celebrity. He does have the Minotaur Horn, I believe.
Force Major's here.
Though. Force Major wanted to help out. He has the break, trying to kill the Tidehunter. Notice walks in. No BKB, but they find Dendi, and that's a dieback for Dendi. It's perfect. Or they might kill the Mars as well, but it doesn't really matter though here. As they finish off the 2 heroes who didn't have buyback.
Yep.
And they're going to take the racks. And Celebrity heals back up.
No, they're just going for the finish here. Can they get it done? There's the blink forward onto RDO. That's the real clone as well. They need a little bit more. And Noticed with the Abyssal Blade, but that's only the first life. They get ready for RDO round 2. He's going to be looking for the kill onto Force Major. BKB this time around, but 5 heroes in the fountain blocking the Ancient auto attacks, which can do nothing. There's going to be the GG call as eventually VPP, they take their sweet time, but they will be able to get the 2-0.
The patience finally paid off there. I really liked the last team fight VP when they actually were committing for the fight, they were going not for the main targets, but rather for the guys who didn't have buyback, right? So Rubik and Undying, very used to playing sacrificially because you're supports after all, ended up sacrificing themselves twice in a